This magician is simply not scientific. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 126, A single move affects the entire body. Tucker, who had just not found the gate to the foreign land and could not waste any more time here, had to go back to work hard. He sat down again at this time. He took a deep breath. Tucker calmed his mind and began to carefully fit in with the contractual veins established with the magic wolf. While carefully feeling the direction, Tucker also used the contract projection technique to immerse himself in the vision and perception of the shadow flame magic wolf leader. This projection technique requires a high level of talent for matching with a summoned creature. For example, Mr. Aubrey can project into the depths of his undead raven anytime and anywhere and control the undead raven. Even Amanda can do the same. But when it comes to Tucker, a wizard who has no summoning talent, it's a little different. Tucker had tried to project himself on the Shadow Flame Magic Wolf before, letting the Shadow Flame Magic Wolf treat it as his own vision and feel the perspective of the Magic Wolf. But unfortunately, it didn't work. The elite Shadow Flame Magic Wolf would reject Tucker as a foreign object. After that, Tucker kept a special trick. When signing the contract with a leader-level Shadow Flame Wolf, the series of shameful contract rules that no dog would sign were designed to allow Tucker to better complete the projection and control the Shadow Flame Wolf leader. Tucker was not good at the extraordinary characteristics of the intimacy between the summoned creatures. However, Tucker was very good at the power of the rule veins at the contract level. Using himself as an anchor point, Tucker accurately measured the distance along the direction of the contract power. In the past few days, Tucker has used the veins constructed by the Dark Sun Church to perceive the surrounding situation. Soon, Tucker determined the exact location. And with Tucker's projection, the powerful and accurate vision was activated. The disguised cave entrance under the gray and white layered mountain valley was peeled off layer by Tucker. Finally, its true landform was restored. The underground passage protected by the power of the Dark Sun. There are many extraordinary people of more than 30 levels guarding the entrance alone. There are so many portals. This is probably a transit hub. That means there are really good things here. We need to plan carefully. Tucker could sense a lot of things just from the scattered veins. Just hide here. I'll be here soon. After the Shadow Flame Wolf leader transmitted the message in his mind, Tucker retreated silently. The Shadow Flame Wolf leader turned around and looked at the few brothers following behind him, and gave a direct order. Hide well. The Shadow Flame Wolf leader did a much better job than Tucker in commanding the elite Shadow Flame Wolf. The three elite Shadow Flame Wolves jumped into the shadows of the thick or thin tree trunks and hid. The place where the light can't reach is the shadow. The tree trunk itself is also. There are only 3 Shadow Flame Wolves. Maybe I should ask the master for more elite Shadow Flame Wolves. The wolf leader, who was thinking, jumped into a thicker tree and appeared in the shadow peeking at the top of the tree canopy. In the Blue Tile Heart Tavern, Andre Fan, who had put his knife back into its sheath, leaned on the backrest of the soft sofa with a drink in his hand. But his mind was not on his teammates who were bragging and chatting, but on the steam wizard Tanir not far away. Just now, Tanir was obviously going to get up and leave. But he sat back down again. Then there was a stalemate that looked particularly weird. It seemed to be projection? Summoning? Contract? Andre couldn't help but think of the exotic door that Tucker mentioned some time ago. Although Andre didn't have much hope for this. But Tanir's abnormal behavior gave him a glimmer of hope. Sure enough. Not long after, the steam wizard Tanir stood up, looked at him deeply, and then walked upstairs. Andre Fan understood and followed. This scene naturally attracted the attention of several members of the team. Sister Susan, the captain, said that the wizard Tanalu is very powerful. Moreover, the growth rate of our income during this period is amazingly fast, all thanks to Tanalu. Our team is just short of a wizard. Why don't you go and sleep with him and let him join our team during this period? Bald Elton said drunkenly. I do want to, but others may not be willing. Susanna shook the glass in her hand, and the corner of her eye passed by Tucker, who disappeared from the stairs. The tradition of them San Kyung people is that if you meet a man you like, don't miss it, and the main thing is to be open. But unfortunately, the style of Cillian people is completely different from theirs. Second floor, corridor. When Andre Fan passed by Tucker, He heard a faint voice. "See you in an hour, at the old place. Someone else noticed you, get rid of them." Yet, in the short time when the information Medden staggered, Andre Fan had already known a lot of information. Tucker immediately pushed open the door of the room blessed by the iron coupling source wall and entered it. In order to ensure Baggins' safety, Tucker rented a guest room on the second floor of the tavern. And the contract summoned the barrier power of the iron coupling source wall and the holy silver wall to stabilize the room. In this way, Tucker can directly and safely pass through Baggins' magical alchemy hut from the tavern to ensure his own safety and Baggins' concealment. At the same time, once the situation in the Black River Valley changes, this place can also be used as a temporary defense point. Tucker has already begun preparations for the war in the Black River Valley. In the magical alchemy hut, Baggins was shocked at the sudden appearance of Tucker, and then curious. Now, he has become accustomed to it. Although he also asked Tucker how he did it. Tucker's special ability of the steam sequence made it impossible for him to continue asking. Steam sequence is now the extraordinary sequence power that almost all the extraordinary world forces in the three-eyed God Holy Spirit Empire are studying and exploring in depth. Many extraordinary colleges in the extraordinary steam city-states have set up special research projects on steam sequences. This is because the steam core born from the great spirit of steam and rails is really too magical. Many extraordinary talents or abilities born from the strange steam sequence may create history. Even if Tucker told him, he might not be able to understand. Putting the food and wine on a small table, Tucker slowly spoke. "After leaving today, I may not be able to come back for a few days. I thought that today would be a peaceful day as usual." But Tucker's words made Baggins alert. "What are you going to do?" Baggins looked at Tucker, and even the wine that Tucker brought him was not fragrant in an instant. With Tucker here, his safety is beyond doubt. Once Tucker leaves, then, he will return to the level of "as long as the enemy dares to find me, I will dare to die for the enemy to see." Although, during this period of time, many herders and Dark Sun evils in the Black River Valley were killed by demon hunters. However, those are not the ones who threaten Baggins' safety. Those extraordinary people who come out of the Black River Valley are the ones who really threaten Baggins' safety. Nowadays, there are many extraordinary people who are slightly polluted in the border towns of this valley. There are also many extraordinary people who just surrender to Dark Sun and work for Dark Sun, but do not believe in Dark Sun. The turmoil and undercurrent of the Black River Valley are not only in the dangerous Black River Valley Tower City State. Several border towns on the edge of the Black River Valley are also undercurrents. "This time my action will completely solve the trouble of you being threatened," Tucker said while preparing things. Although Tucker's extraordinary storage bracelet is already very large. But Tucker and Baggins have discussed it in the past few days. Baggins is willing to free up part of his own extraordinary storage bracelet. Divide the spoils, ahem, it's time to divide the spoils, and he has a share. "Have you found the door to the foreign land?" As expected, Baggins instantly became energetic. He was imprisoned in that place for quite a long time, and his 2 apprentices died there. Baggins hated that hellhole. "If you can destroy that place, I might be able to make you a nice extraordinary steam revolver." "Sounds good." Tucker smiled. No one can refuse a powerful steam revolver that is purely handmade and has the spirit of dwarven craftsmanship. Tucker is the same. "Be careful these days, if something happens." Tucker paused and his eyes condensed for a moment, looking at the location of the steam tower in the Black River Valley. His heart was vaguely touched. This action may make both sides restrain themselves. But, it may also, move the whole body with one hair. Directly detonate the entire Black River Valley. Tucker doesn't know which result it will be. But Tucker must be prepared for both hands. And he must grasp both hands and be strong with both hands. After calming his mind, Tucker continued. "If something happens, you run away and escape to St. Lander." Baggins was stunned, and then muttered, "Damn. You sound like you're leaving a last will." Tucker. Chapter 127 is a little bit more difficult. The rain was much lighter. It was drizzling, but extremely cold. In the darkness, Tucker held up his shield and moved forward quickly in the form of shadow. Behind Tucker was the 4th level Andre Fan. As a 4th level demon hunter, he had already begun to try to condense his supernatural state. Coupled with his innate arc vision as a demon hunter and his own mobility, it was still easy to keep up with Tucker in the shadow state. Almost there. As Tucker slowed down and lowered his voice. Andre also immediately restrained his supernatural aura. Soon, Tucker stopped in a corner of the ridge jungle. "Come out." As Tucker's voice fell, the third-level Shadow Flame Demon Wolf Leader jumped out from the treetops in the rain. "Shadow Demon Wolf Leader!" Andre exclaimed in a low voice, and with a clang, he drew out his fourth-level Rune Demon Hunter Silver Blade. The silver pupils were shining. The demon-hunting silver blade also became brighter with the halo of its pupil. The third-level Shadow Flame Demon Wolf was originally a leader-level extraordinary beast, so it would not indulge the other party. It immediately lowered its body and coldly examined the fourth-level demon hunter, roaring in its throat, and its fangs gradually exposed. "Put away your knife, it's too bright. If it is discovered by the hidden enemies in the valley, we will lose the initiative." Tucker glanced at Andre and said while setting up the small altar. He looked at Tucker's shadow state and then at the Shadow Demon Wolf leader. Andre, who had a little understanding, slowly put away his demon-hunting silver blade. As expected, as he put away the knife, the Shadow Demon Wolf stared at him for a moment, then restrained its fighting posture and ran to squat behind Tucker. The height of the squatting alone was much higher than Andre, who was already quite burly and tall. "Damn, you have a third-level leader-level pet, why didn't you say so earlier?" Tisk tisk, a third-level Shadow Flame Wolf leader, a leader-level creature. Andre, who had put away his knife, looked at the burly Shadow Wolf in front of him with great interest. "I don't know how many people want to subdue a leader-level creature, but unfortunately they all fail, and eventually die at the hands of the leader. It would be great if I could contract a powerful leader-level creature. I would even be willing to exchange a steam core for it, but unfortunately..." Andre Pham shook his head. "I don't have the ability to summon and contract." While saying this, Andre wanted to get closer to take a closer look, but he was glared back by the third-level Shadow Flame Wolf leader. "I really envy you wizards." Andre Pham, with a little envy, restrained his expression. However, from his actions of occasionally glancing at the Shadow Flame Wolf leader, this guy obviously wanted to test the strength of the Shadow Flame Wolf leader. In this way, he could also figure out the true strength of the Steam Wizard Tanir, whose level he couldn't even see through to a certain extent. Soon, Tucker started the sacrifice ceremony of the Dark Sun altar. Then, he built the Dark Sun belief veins on the Dark Sun veins extending from the hub area over there and began to explore the situation inside. The SSS level precision, correction plus SSS level steam, origin or open up this way of deep exploration of the world veins and trajectories. It can also be regarded as Tucker's unique skill for the deep development of his extraordinary talent. Originally, Tucker's shadow also had the Dark Sun belief veins. However, using the ritual to build a new belief vein instead of directly using his existing belief veins. In this way, he can better avoid the power of the Dark Sun. The new belief veins can be discarded after use, and it can be done without anyone noticing. During this period, Tucker had a lot of new insights into supernatural belief studies. Half an hour passed quickly. Okay, the exploration is over. In the dark, Tucker opened his eyes. "How is it?" Andre immediately lowered his voice and asked. After thinking for a moment, Tucker slowly said, "According to my ritual exploration, that foreign gate is a transit hub of the Dark Sun Church. From the perspective of scale and personnel, it is a very important place." "An important transit hub?" Tucker's words made Andre's face darken slightly. "Important transit hub? Is this a place that the two of us can provoke? There will be at least bishop-level strongmen squatting inside. A bishop of more than 60 levels is definitely not something the two of us can provoke." As he spoke, Andre's eyes twitched. "You should notify St. Land and ask them to send a supernatural legion over. Instead of you taking me with you, the two of us going there to die in vain." Tucker nodded. "You're right. Inform St. Land and have them collect all the spoils of war and put them in St. Land's warehouse. And we got nothing. You can't expect us to sit here and let those treasures fall in front of us, right?" "But..." Andre spread his hands. "The existence of the Dark Sun Bishop level is too dangerous." Tucker took a deep breath and said slowly, "The key to the problem is here. There are no strong men of the Dark Sun Church at the bishop level over there." "No? Are you sure there are none?" Andre raised his eyebrows. "I'm sure that a sixth-order supernatural person will naturally affect the surrounding supernatural ecology. And my exploration ritual is particularly sensitive to this aspect. If I say no, then there is definitely no. But the problem is that there are 6 long-distance teleportation gates inside, plus a foreign gate, and an exit, The layer channel gate under the valley over there, very close to us. You can understand that this is an independent supernatural layer domain space with 8 magic gates. As long as we destroy these 8 channels, then everything inside will be ours. Tucker's words made Andre Fan's heart beat. The higher the risk, the higher the return. Andre Fan, this is the first time he has felt the charm of this word so clearly. This feeling is like robbing a downtown bank in a supernatural city-state. Although I know that being caught means death, as long as I escape, it will be a bloody profit. Suppressing the undercurrent in my heart. Destroying 8 magic gates at the same time, this difficulty is a little bit greater. To be precise, it is to destroy 6. Tucker said slowly and methodically. Don't worry about the one near us. The strong men of the Black River Valley won't go out easily. I think the 6th level strong men of your Demon Hunter Guild are guarding outside. Right. Andre Fan smiled and didn't refute. Don't worry about the foreign gate. It's just a passage. The energy limit is only more than 50 levels. It can't accommodate 6th level extraordinary people. We only need to destroy 6 to ensure that no bishop level strong men will interfere with us. Destroy 7, and the Black River Valley will not threaten us. If we destroy 8, then we have successfully made a huge coffin for ourselves. Andre Fan added very straightforwardly. Tucker smiled and didn't explain too much. After all, what Tucker has to do next is to turn this place into a coffin. So, later, the 2 of us will go in directly. Just destroy the 6 magic gates. Wait. At this time, Andre interrupted Tucker's beautiful explanation. Although you said there are no 6th order bishops in there. But the 5th order, deacons, of the Dark Sun Church are also quite terrifying. To be honest, I once met a 4th order, deacon, of the Dark Sun Church. At that time, I had just been promoted to the 4th order and almost died in the hands of the other party. But even if I have stabilized the 4th order steam sequence now, I believe I am not weaker than any 4th order, deacon, of the Dark Sun Church. But if I meet a 5th order, deacon, I'm afraid. There are 2 5th order, deacons, stationed there, and there are 12 4th order deacons. Tucker interrupted Andre's I'm afraid and told the facts directly. Hiss. This. Can we beat them? Andre's eyes began to twitch violently. 2 5th order Dark Sun deacons. Andre felt that the 2 5th order Dark Sun deacons could tear him apart alive. I think it would be safer for us to call the Saint Land Extraordinary Legion over. Andre explained his truest thoughts in his heart. Tucker also knew the strength of those Dark Sun deacons. These Dark Sun deacons were all A-level geniuses, or at least top-level B-level geniuses, inheriting the powerful foreign Dark Sun sequence. In the southern border of the continent, and even in the east continent across the Star Sea, there are members of the Dark Sun organization who are recruiting geniuses. There are quite a few geniuses in the Dark Sun Church. You don't need to fight hard, just disrupt them inside. Tucker explained slowly. I will destroy all the magic gates quickly. After that, we will have plenty of time to kill them slowly. But, during your destruction, the bishop of the Dark Sun Church came to kill you. Andre asked what he was most worried about. The bishop of the Dark Sun Church, if he dares to come, I will die for him to see. Tucker said slowly and methodically. Andre Fan was stunned. After examining Tucker for a long time, he whispered a few words from the gap between his clenched teeth. You lunatic. Chapter 128. The entrance to the Dark Sun Church's lair space. How dare he? Hiding in the bushes, when Andre saw Tucker ordering the Shadow Wolf leader to cooperate with him, an unprecedented absurdity emerged in his heart. This steam wizard was so confident that he could survive in the melee. At this time, Tucker was making the final touch perception through the Dark Sun belief veins, while carefully considering every step of the plan. Even if the bishop of the Dark Sun Church arrived in time, Tucker could escape calmly. After all, once the layer channel in front of him was destroyed, he could come out at any time, and the bishop of the Dark Sun Church could not catch up at all. Crossing the layer, that is not something that can be done by ordinary means. It's just, this worst situation really happened. Andre Fan, this genius demon hunter, may be in some danger. But, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Are you ready? Tucker asked in a low voice. Okay. Let's get started. Woo woo woo. The low and melodious roar of steam suddenly resounded throughout the valley in this quiet and cold rainy night. When the guards heard the roar of the steam sequence, they were still a little surprised. The next moment, They saw a steam sequence superhuman with a sturdy and majestic figure, and his whole body was filled with hot steam. Every step he took was like a steam train rushing in. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The superhuman stationed immediately issued a warning. SHH. The demon hunter silver blade flashed, accompanied by hot source energy steam, and the roaring third-level superhuman was beheaded by Andre. The demon wolf leader on the side passed by and bit him down. Shadow passed by, attacked and bit, all in one go. The second-level superhuman had no time to react at all, and his head had been bitten to pieces by the demon wolf leader. This is what a true second-level extraordinary person should look like. The leader of the Shadow Flame Demon Wolf thought fiercely. One man and one wolf, neither of them wanted to fight. They flew deep into the passage quickly while attacking wantonly. It would be great if they could kill the enemy, but they would not make up for it if they could not. Their goal was to rush into the layer domain behind the passage, to stir up the inside and create an opportunity for Tucker. When Andre was about to pass through the layer domain passage, boom! A violent roar was heard. The aftermath even blew on the back of his head. Andre looked back and instantly bared his teeth. Damn bastard! He roared hoarsely. That damn Tanniru actually blew up the passage directly. That was the layer domain passage. When he came over, he clearly felt that the passage was not stable. After being blown up by Tanniru, the layer domain passage was completely broken. He could not get out at all. And that Tanniru, Andre noticed. That guy did not come in. In other words, the traitor Tanniru sold him out. Wait. That's... Boom. Within Tanniru's sight, the violent aftermath of the explosion directly blew the first magic gate to pieces. Andre, who had just rushed to the layer space where the alien gate was located and whose anger had just reached its peak, saw the scene and understood it instantly. That Tanniru did not fail to come in, but used other methods to come in. Space jump, phase travel, plane walk, and many other extremely heaven-defying methods appeared in Andre's mind. This bastard actually hid such a powerful method. Andre grinned. Blocked a shot from the fourth-level guard on the side. Woo woo woo. Andre tried his best to activate the two steam cores in his steam sequence. The innate ability of the steam sequence, steam engine, was gradually being released by him. His body outline began to become more and more burly and tall, and the steam was rising more and more violently. Bastards! Andre roared loudly. Today, I will let you feel the divine punishment from the power of steam. The sound waves shook the alien gate layer space that was as big as a small town. Andre tried his best to track the target in hatred. Boom! At this moment, the second magic gate was blown to pieces. Kill! Andre roared, his eyes shining with silver light, and the blade was even more dazzling than the light of the surrounding magic lighthouses. There is no doubt. At this time, Andre was the most handsome guy in the entire extraordinary layer space, and he also attracted most of the eyes and attention. Of course, he also attracted a lot of firepower. Andre, who was handsome for less than 5 seconds, was chased around by a large number of flying spells. It's not that he can't bear it, he has no problem to bear it. The physique of the steam hunter is not inferior to that of the steam warrior. How can you fight and kill those insidious and cunning dark creatures all year round without a strong physique? The body of the steam hunter highlights the ability to fight and resist. The reason why he wanted to escape was that he remembered Tanniru's instructions, and harassment was the main thing. We need to make this place completely chaotic. Andre quickly jumped from the roof of one house to the roof of another house, and then jumped to another roof. He kept attracting firepower, giving Tucker the perfect time to destroy. The sooner the teleportation array is destroyed, the less likely it is that the power of the bishop level will come. The safer they are. And his attraction of firepower is indeed very effective. The entire alien gateland is in complete chaos. Various spells are flying everywhere. Some fire spells have set many places on fire. And those other extraordinary people who were originally going to hunt Andre are also afraid of the spells cast by the spellcasters. Those spells don't have eyes. If you chase them now, if you are unlucky, you won't know how you died. But, even so, there are still unlucky people who are hit by the spells of the spellcasters. Asshole, don't you have eyes when casting spells? You bunch of stupid spellcasters, there's a shadow wolf over there, can't you see it? Predict the enemy's position, stupid, you predicted the wrong direction. A guy who doesn't even know how to cast spells, he can't do anything, and he's the first to give random commands. The noise, plus the fluctuations of dozens of spells, completely messed up the entire alien gate layer. Boom. Another magic gate was destroyed. Next, Tucker walked through and came to the shadow corner of a house again. The excited light-shaping spears quickly condensed. These magic gates are made of a lot of materials, obviously to prevent them from being destroyed. Ordinary witchcraft cannot completely destroy them with one blow. Highly condensed excited light-shaping spears can do it. At this time, Tucker was trying to condense a powerful excited light-shaping spear. In the corner, wrapped in the power of shadow, Tucker could quietly destroy the scattered magic gates one by one. When condensing, Tucker's heart moved slightly. Someone noticed my target. I saw a figure of a spellcaster, using wind magic, quickly landed on the magic gate not far away. He began to put up a protective barrier on the magic gate. 4 magic gates were quickly destroyed in a row. The garrison deacon of the Dark Sun Church also reacted quickly. Just when the spellcaster put up a shield on the barrier, the spellcaster suddenly felt something. A witchcraft fist with strange power hit hard. But the spellcaster was unmoved. He had a 3rd-level robe shield. He would rather block it hard and cast a spell to protect the magic gate. Bang! The 3rd-level wizard, along with his robe shield and his head, was smashed by a punch. The spell also collapsed. Go! Tucker threw the light-shaping spear, ball directly over. Boom! The 5th portal also collapsed. There is one last one. During this time, Tucker followed Andre's demon hunter team. Hunting and actual combat were constantly going on. Tucker was also looking for the practical fit of the powerful witchcraft rune, Spiritual Hand. After all, Tucker himself felt stupid when he saw the long spell casting and chanting. So, is there a way to effectively utilize the power of rune, Spiritual Hand without having to wait for a long time like a fool? Tucker really found it. Tucker did not complete the condensation of all the power of the rune hand at once. Instead, he used the rune mystery he had realized as attraction, plus his own research, addition, points. This made the rune, Spiritual Hand self-condensing. As long as Tucker activated the initial rune spell, the rune, Spiritual Hand would automatically enter the spirit world, continuously extract steam source energy, and strengthen itself. This would take more time than Tucker's own active condensation. But during this period, Tucker didn't have to worry about it at all. It would grow and condense to high enough strength. During this period, Tucker could mobilize and control the hand of spiritual movement at any time. Fortunately, Tucker's understanding of Soul Rune is deep enough, and the system has added a lot of points in the self-condensation function. Only then can Rune, Hand of Spiritual Movement, have the magical effect it has now. A shadow passed through and landed in the shadow of the 3rd floor of a tower. Tucker glanced at Andre, who had completely disrupted the entire alien gate layer not far away. Fortunately, with this guy's disruption, Tucker was able to destroy a large number of magic gates so quickly. Then, Tucker looked at the last magic gate. I saw that this last magic gate had been protected by a magic shield. 2 station 5th level Dark Sun deacons were protecting it on the left and right. It's quite smart, but unfortunately, the means are not strong enough. Rune, Hand of Spiritual Movement, phase through. Tucker used the Hand of Spiritual Movement, which had condensed some of its power, to directly phase through the magic shield. Not good. The 2 5th level Dark Sun deacons felt a powerful force appear inside the magic shield at the same time. But it was too late. The rune Spirit Hand, which had the power to penetrate the realms of reality and the spirit world, collided with a magic gate with the power of transmission as its core. Boom! A huge explosion directly tore the magic shield apart. The roar resounded throughout the small world of the alien gate realm. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 129, Coffin? No, it's a crematorium. Boom. As the 6th magic gate was broken, the 2 5th level Dark Sun deacons felt a light magic that made them a little frightened, and their faces were colorful. This sudden sneak attack was too fast. Just when the explosion occurred at the door, they had already notified Lord Banelester, who was stationed at the hub of the foreign gate. As a result, 3 portals were blown up in a blink of an eye. The most hateful thing was that the magic gate that Bishop Bainlester came through was the second one to be blown up. When they felt something was wrong and wanted to protect the magic gate, the enemy walking in the dark was faster than them. One magic gate after another was blown up. When the two of them wanted to protect the last magic gate, it was too late. The mysterious wizard's magic was so magical that it was beyond their imagination. Even the magic gate that was protected by the magic shield was directly cracked by the enemy's magic, and then the magic gate exploded. None of the 6 magic gates survived. The 4th level Steam Demon Hunter was very powerful and attracted most of the attention. But the real threat was the mysterious wizard who attacked in secret. As long as the damn wizard was killed, the Demon Hunter who attracted fire in the open would not be able to jump for long. On the tower, the puppeteer Mark roared immediately. The two seemed to be immersed in the regret of the broken last magic door. In fact, the 5th level Deacon Mark of the Dark Sun was using his puppet silk thread to explore the hiding wizard. Tucker saw those strange silk threads that jumped and crossed arcs on the surface, in the air, on the walls, and on the eaves. They were dense and endless. They were almost catching up with the shadow veins, covering the surrounding world. However, the shadow silk thread veins were just an extension of the shadow power, and their own attack ability was not strong. And this 5th level puppet silk thread. If Tucker was entangled and soaked, he would be hung up by the opponent in a minute. Tucker, who didn't dare to resist, jumped and slid down from the tower. This scene was naturally discovered by the 2 5th level Dark Sun deacons. "My child, return to your hometown." The comfortable and warm voice, like a mother gently caring for her child, turned into a ripple vortex in Tucker's mind. At that moment, Tucker felt as if he had returned to his infancy. Soul, body, witchcraft, and extraordinary talent are constantly breaking away from silence. Tucker, who was gliding in the air, looked back with a slightly stiff neck. He had already seen the pseudo-upgraded sequence Soul Shepherd, filler of the Shepherd sequence. He was capturing his soul. The ordinary-looking female face showed the unique temperament of a mother loving her child. "If my soul is not still useful now, otherwise, I would sell it to you directly." Tucker grinned at the 5th level Deacon, filler and showed a hideous bloody smile. The next moment, the breath of light and barriers permeated Tucker's body. Then he broke free from the soul capture of filler. Walking in the dark, Tucker left the spot. This also made a large number of puppet threads coming from behind fall into the air. "Filler, how did you let that guy escape? He is only at the 2nd level." Seeing this, Mark asked angrily. "His ecology is very powerful, and he broke free from the restraints by force." Filler said in a low voice with a somewhat uncertain face. "What?" Mark was stunned. Can a 2nd level extraordinary person be described as powerful? At the same time, Tucker also jumped back into a shadow corner. Thanks to the concealment of Tucker's own steam and origin spiritual state, the fluctuations of Tucker's shadow passing through the ground were minimal. The 2 5th level extraordinary people whose perception and detection methods were not very powerful did not find Tucker's traces at the first time. The 5th level Dark Sun Deacon is still quite powerful. Feeling that his soul was slightly scarred by the capture of the shepherd, Tucker's eyes were slightly condensed. Whether it was the shepherd or the puppet master, they were both mid-level transcendents. Compared to Andre Fan, who had just begun to condense the transcendent state, these 2 5th level Dark Sun Deacons not only condensed the transcendent state, but their transcendent state was also quite powerful. It was not something that Tucker could easily confront head-on. Transcendent state was a state of life of a transcendent body in which life and soul broke away from the basic flesh and blood ecology and began to use the transcendent sequence ecology as the framework of life and soul. To put it simply, for a transcendent who had constructed the transcendent state, the flesh was no longer the decisive factor in determining his life state, but could only be regarded as a secondary factor. Even if the head exploded, the heart collapsed, or even half of the body was drowned, it was impossible to kill a transcendent who had condensed the transcendent state. Only by completely destroying the transcendent sequence ecology that served as the framework of life could a transcendent in the transcendent state be truly killed. After reaching the level of intermediate transcendence, basically everyone is a tough guy. Even if some of Tucker's basic witchcraft can hurt them, it is at most a minor injury on the physical level. And their attacks on Tucker are all important soul level damage. His eyes glanced at the slowly rotating foreign door not far away. While thinking, Tucker in the shadow corner had already raised his palm. The arcane shooting gathered silently. Before, when Baggins was repairing the foreign door, he secretly kept a backhand. In his own words, that is, a pivot lock was added to the frame node of the foreign door. Once the pivot lock was attacked, the entire foreign door would be paralyzed. Originally, Baggins wanted to knock on the pivot lock with a hammer before escaping. Destroy the foreign door he repaired with his own hands. As a result, he did not have time to do this. And now, Tucker has completed the baton. Baggins does not even need to explain. When Tucker came to this area, he had already seen the ordinary node in the upper right corner of the alien gate, which was very special. A large number of energy veins need to pass through it. Bang! The sound of arcane shooting sounded. The arcane bullets shattered the important nodes of the alien gate fiercely. At the same time, Tucker's trace was also discovered. The soft whisper was like the whisper of a lover in a dream, lingering in Tucker's ears and heart. Even Tucker had some strange reactions. And the strange silk thread surrounded him from all directions. Obviously, this time the puppet master had no intention of letting Tucker go. Filler, if you were more beautiful, I might be moved, but it's a pity that you are too ordinary. Tucker, who laughed loudly, took a step and disappeared from the spot, leaving a large number of puppet silk threads empty again. Damn, you let him run away again, Mark said angrily. And being ridiculed by Tucker, the shepherd filler, who was originally plain in appearance, had a sullen face. He can't run away. After a phase of transit, Tucker was already not far from Andre Fan. Andre immediately accelerated and rushed over. When he touched Tucker, the surrounding vision was quickly stretched, and the surrounding scene began to become abstract. It is indeed some kind of powerful transit ability. Before Andre Fan could look more carefully, the surroundings had quickly dimmed. A large number of magic lighthouses, a large number of besieged extraordinary people, and those damn long-range spellcasters, all disappeared. Instead, they were replaced by the bushes where they had just hidden. The two of them escaped. The drizzle began to drip on their bodies. When the cold wind outside blew, Andre looked at himself and found that his whole body was already covered with wounds. Damn. There are too many of them. Andre took a deep breath. By the way, your shadow wolf hasn't come out yet. This guy cares more about the shadow wolf than Tucker. Tucker suddenly pressed the ground with one hand. A large area of shadows spread out, radiating in all directions from Tucker's palm like a wave. The next moment, the leader of the shadow flame wolf jumped out of it. In the contract signed by Tucker, there is naturally a contract channel that can directly summon the other party in exchange. Tisk tisk, this method is really beautiful. Seeing this scene, Andre only regretted that he was not a wizard. Then Andre looked at the direction of the alien gate layer domain small world where the layer domain channel had been broken, and said slowly, even if we can trap them in it and eat them away by repeatedly entering and leaving, it is quite difficult. After all, the two 5th level Dark Sun Deacons are definitely not defeated by the two of us. Moreover, they will repair the magic portal inside. Once the portal is repaired, our plan will fail, Andre said while sitting cross-legged while drinking the recovery potion. Tucker at the side also took out a bottle of soul recovery potion and drank it. Tisk tisk. You can get hurt. Andre was amazed by the scene. Tucker ignored Andre's words and spoke slowly. Hurry up and recover from your injuries. I have just broken all the channels for leaving. The entire alien gate space is already a complete coffin. But soon, there will become a crematorium. They can't escape. Crematorium? Andre Fan raised his eyebrows. Although the wizard in front of him was not very old, his methods were ruthless and his style was resolute. Among the extraordinary people he knew, he was definitely one of the best. Fortunately, he is not a member of the Dark Sun Church, otherwise, it would be unimaginable. Crematorium? Can you tell me more about it? Andre took a deep breath and asked in a deep voice while recovering. Chapter 130, Living Sacrifice in the Small World. The drizzle began to become thick and sticky, and soon turned into heavy rain. Tucker was in the rain, slowly explaining. Don't you have the ability to perform large-scale exorcism rituals for demon hunters? Tucker said slowly. Yes. Andre nodded. And you also said before that you can continuously obtain more powerful light power by sacrificing and cleansing dark creatures and the special powers of corruption, distortion, and sin, right? It seems that you have been exploring my abilities from my teammates during this period. Andre smiled, But it seemed that his wound was involved, and his smile was slightly distorted. In this case, that's enough. Tucker glanced at the location of the alien gate layer. In the small world of the alien gate layer, what do you think of the dark sun power inside? It's so strong and powerful, it's like a small temple of the dark sun church. I really want to light it with a holy fire. When Andre heard it, he shook his head. That's right. Tucker said slowly. Andre Fan, it's time to test your true skills. What do you mean? Andre Fan was slightly stunned. He didn't quite understand what the steam wizard in front of him meant. Tucker took a deep breath and said slowly, I need to use your exorcism sacrifice ritual ability to sacrifice the entire small world of the alien gate. Burn them all to death. Sacrifice the entire small world? Burn them all to death? I'm a demon hunter, what do you think of me? And, is this something a demon hunter like me can do? Andre's eyes twitched violently. The cruelty of the wizard Tanaru in front of him refreshed his cognition again. After thinking for a moment, Andre shook his head. I can't do it. Even if you take me back, I don't have enough time to set up the ritual. And, the power of my sacrifice ritual can't cover the entire world at all. We don't need to go back. Tucker said lightly. You don't need to send power to the whole world. You just need to start the ceremony, and I will help you send the light of the demon hunter holy light to there, to cleanse everyone carefully. That's impossible. Andre retorted. Although you have mastered the light witchcraft, it only means that you have some light talent. If there is no strong and pure light essence in your sequence, the holy light of the demon hunter will burn you. The first person to die will be you. Tucker exhaled lightly. You said. Is there a possibility? Light is actually a part of me. What? Andre was suddenly startled, and he looked at Tucker in disbelief. But he saw that in Tucker's steam-roaring sequence. The light of the holy angel bloomed. The small world of the foreign gate. A large number of guards and shepherds of the Dark Sun Church were sent by Filler and Mark to hold torches and flashlights to illuminate all corners of the small world of the foreign gate. They wanted to pull out those three guys. But soon, the result that made them furious came out. There was no trace of the three guys in the entire alien gate world. In other words, the three guys just ran away after destroying the magic teleportation array and the alien gate. They just ran away after destroying it. What they left behind was a mess of devastation and ruins everywhere. What made them most angry was that the wizard destroyed 6 portals and the exit of the layer channel. Even the alien gate was malfunctioning because of the wizard's shooting magic. The huge door frame of the alien gate clearly still had energy and was even still operating. But in fact, it was no longer working. In other words, all of them, about 300 or 400 people, were trapped here. Trapped in this large coffin. If the portal is not repaired as soon as possible, or the layer channel is stabilized, and the major events in the Black River Valley are delayed, they will be skinned alive. Huh? A spellcaster who was on a rooftop, using eagle eye to observe the surrounding situation, suddenly noticed something. He raised his head and looked up. The next moment, a strong and dazzling exorcist holy light burst out. This spellcaster who relied on the power of the Dark Sun to complete the 3rd level promotion used his eagle eyes to gather the exorcist holy light and directly completed a powerful exorcism for his eyes. Sizzle. Accompanied by the sound of hissing, the 3rd level spellcaster covered his eyes and fell to the ground wailing. Burnt smoke continued to overflow from the gaps between his fingers. My eyes, my eyes. The exorcist holy light guided by the exorcism ritual. Not only does it have a powerful light characteristic, it also has the ability to expel purification, darkness, distortion, filth, evil, and distortion. It is born with an unparalleled restraint on the power of the Dark Sun dimension. Normally, the exorcist and the Dark Sun transcendent are fighting. It depends on which power is stronger, the Dark Sun or the light. If the power of the Dark Sun is stronger, the demon hunter will also be killed. But at this time, the situation is completely different. What ascended at this time was not the power of Andre's 4th level demon hunter. Rather, in the vast historical era, the will of a large number of demon hunters condensed, and the powerful power of the demon hunter Holy Spirit was born. The powerful power of the demon hunter Holy Spirit guided by the ritual, only a ray of it, can cause great damage to the power of the Dark Sun. As the strong demon hunter holy light above the sky lit up, fear began to brew, spread, and then quickly stirred in the small world of the alien gate. A large number of Dark Sun believers, shepherds, Dark Sun evil fallen, and Dark Sun guards were illuminated by the demon hunter holy light, and black smoke rose from their bodies. Damn, hide quickly. Be careful of the exorcist holy light in the sky. The shameless demon hunter only knows how to do this kind of sneak attack. Come out and fight head on. Wait until I get out, kill directly to Saint Rand, stupid demon hunter, you have successfully angered me. Cursing and noise, with the rise of the holy light. However, many members of the Dark Sun Church had to hide in houses, hiding in places where the exorcist holy light that made them palpitate could not shine. A devout believer of the second-level Dark Sun. After taking a few steps in the exorcist holy light, he could no longer hold on. He tried his best to climb forward. Great Lord! Save me! As he climbed, the second-level devout Dark Sun believer was washed by the power of the holy light, evaporating his flesh and blood body in extraordinary ecology supported by the Dark Sun, and even whose skeleton quickly cracked and shattered. At this time, a large number of Dark Sun evil fells roared, struggled, and were angry. They wanted to escape but had no way to escape. They ran around frantically and confusedly. As they ran, they were ignited. Then, in the burning of the holy light flame, they struggled desperately and died quickly. One by one, the hideous and twisted evil dead bodies appeared in the small world of the foreign gate in such a strange shape. At this time, only those extraordinary people who hid could survive. However, the steps of exorcism and purification have not ended. It can even be said that they have just begun. As the holy light of demon hunting gradually intensified, the air began to be filled with a burning power that frightened the extraordinary people of the Dark Sun Church. It felt like being in a crematorium and feeling the gradually rising temperature. The flesh was burning, but the soul was tormented. At the same time, outside the small world of the alien gate, Andre, who had started the exorcism ceremony, had already felt a lot of source energy experience fed back to himself. A large amount of confused soul origins were also constantly rising through the purification of the altar. Even the wailing before death continued to sound in Andre's ears. The wailing of death vaguely resonated with Andre Fan. He couldn't help but recall what his teacher had said to him, demon hunters must have a heart of redemption. Isn't it a bit too cruel for us to do this? Andre looked at Tucker, who was pulling the exorcism power into the small world of the alien gate, and whispered, even if they have fallen into darkness, we should forgive their souls instead of torturing them like this. Tucker thought seriously before looking at Andre Fan. How about ending the ceremony now? I'll send you in, and you talk to them to see if they will accept your salvation. Andre, whose silver pupils shrank slightly, took a deep breath and said, take it, I'm going to increase the intensity of the ceremony. Burning them all to death is the best salvation for their souls. Chapter 131 Rich Spoils. 1 hour. The exorcism ceremony lasted for a full hour. Andre built the altar, started the exorcism ceremony, and guided a large amount of exorcism holy light. Then Tucker delivered the exorcism holy light to the small world of the alien gate. For those souls who had nowhere to hide, the final redemption was completed. Maybe I didn't complete the redemption of their souls, but at least I prevented them from polluting more souls. Or in other words, these souls should not be redeemed. Until this moment, Andre's ears were still lingering with the tragic wails of the members of the Dark Sun Church who were sacrificed alive before they died. Like a whispered whisper, it could not be eliminated, and it kept resonating slightly in the depths of his mind. At this moment, Tucker's voice slowly sounded. The wailing of death will lead to alienated resonance of the ecology. This has nothing to do with light or darkness, it is purely caused by the characteristics of the extraordinary ecology itself. Just like humans instinctively sympathize with those tragic wailing cries for help, and show compassion for the death and disability of their own kind. You need a priest to treat you. Tucker's words made Andre take a deep breath. After all, there were 300 or 400 people in there, and they were sacrificed alive by the two of them. He did have some slight alienation. Andre looked at Tucker and asked, you also guided the power of the exorcist holy light, listened to the wailing screams and the cries of death, how come you are okay? Tucker said with a cold expression and a flat tone. If I could hear the screams of so many Dark Sun believers every day, I would wake up laughing in my dreams. Killing a Dark Sun believer a day is good for my physical and mental health. Hiss, you devil. Andre Fan took a breath. He thought he had touched Tucker's cruel bottom line before, but now it seems that this guy's cruel bottom line is bottomless. Alright. Tucker looked at the direction of the alien gate. Now it's time to clean up the battlefield. All the relics of nearly 400 extraordinary people are left inside. Although their extraordinary characteristics were sacrificed and burned by the power of exorcism. But their extraordinary weapons, storage bracelets, extraordinary equipment on their bodies, etc. are still there, which are a huge amount of magic gold. Tucker's words made Andre instantly excited. Even the whispers beside his ear seemed to be much smaller. Maybe I don't need a priest to treat me. Those spoils are the best treatment. Andre laughed. He likes hunting demons and exorcism, but he likes counting spoils more. How to divide it? Andre asked a soulful question. The relics of the dead extraordinary people will be divided in half, and the resources stored in the Dark Sun Church will all belong to me. Tucker had already thought of a plan to divide the spoils. If Tucker came alone. Not to mention the difficulty of destroying the magic gates in a short time. Even if all the magic gates were destroyed, it would be difficult for Tucker alone to kill everyone inside. But with a steam demon hunter Andre Fan, it was completely different. The cooperation of the two was a completely gorgeous qualitative change. First of all, Andre attracted the attention and firepower, allowing Tucker to perfectly solve the problem of the 6 magic gates. After that, his extraordinary sequence demon hunter played a crucial role. A powerful exorcism baptism was completed for the power of the entire closed half of the Dark Sun Temple Church. Using the living sacrifice method that the Dark Sun Church is good at, their souls were severely attacked. This is the real way to defeat magic with magic. Andre's contribution is worth him taking half of the relics of the extraordinary. These extraordinary people in the Dark Sun Church are a little poorer than those outside. But at least some ordinary herders and extraordinary guards have a net worth of 300 to 500 magic gold. As for those powerful extraordinary people, it's hard to say. Half of the relics, that's close to 170 or 180,000, at least 50,000 or 60,000 magic gold, or even 70,000 or 80,000, or even higher. After a quick calculation of the relics of nearly 200 extraordinary people, this amount of magic gold severely hit Andre's soul and made him tremble. No wonder Tucker was reluctant to report to St. Rand. This income is worth it. Such an income is definitely the most lucrative harvest since Lee started his career as a demon hunter. It can be called the peak of his exorcism career. No problem. Andre quickly agreed to the plan proposed by the wizard Tanniru to split the relics in half. I wonder how much the materials stored here by the Dark Sun Church are worth. Andre thought secretly. But that was the gain of Tanniru. As soon as Andre had this thought, he was suppressed. With Tanniru's current style, if he dared to turn against him 1 second, he would probably regret it the next second. He didn't believe that this Tanniru didn't have a backup plan to deal with him. Even in a one-on-one fight, he might be the one to die. After experiencing that magical feeling of traveling again, Andre followed Tucker back to the small world of the alien gate layer domain. Before, this place was full of the pollution of the Dark Sun and a large number of evil fallen, herders, Dark Sun Church guards, etc., and he was chased and fled everywhere. But now, there is silence here, and the holy breath floats over a large number of corpses. Basically, they can serve in important hub areas under the scrutiny of the Dark Sun Church. They must be selected through the Dark Sun Church's layers of competitions and are absolutely loyal to the Dark Sun Church. The more loyal these people are to the Dark Sun, the more they absorb a lot of Dark Sun power. The more fiercely they burn under the illumination of the exorcist holy light. The height of the flames measured their faith in the Dark Sun. There was no doubt that they were all devout believers. Especially the 2 5th-level Dark Sun deacons. They held on for more than half an hour before they were finally ignited by the exorcist holy light. The flames jumped to the height of 2 floors. Tucker did not bring the leader of the Shadow Wolf in. The exorcist holy light was pervasive inside, which was not friendly to the shadow creatures. You go and collect the relics of those extraordinary people. I'll collect the materials they have stored. Understood. The two began to act separately. As an important transit hub, there are a lot of things stored here. Especially the runestones, there are quite a lot of them. As Tucker entered the red house with some magical hut characteristics. After a glance, Tucker's pupils condensed slightly. There are 15 or 16 boxes as big as monster treasure chests, and they are all sealed. Tucker opened the seal and opened the lid of the box. What came into view was the palm-sized space rune stones in a sealed state. These rune stones are silver gray in color, and naturally condensed the marks of space runes. However, the space marks are in the form of phantoms. They are crude space rune stones. The power of each reserved space rune is not weak, so it is easy to seal and transport. Otherwise, if there is any mistake in a thumb-sized rune stone with extremely condensed space rune power, the space rune power will explode, which will inevitably stimulate the surrounding space rune stones and form a chain reaction. That would be an extremely tragic disaster. But if it is replaced with a crude space rune stone, it will be fine. Even if one of them has a problem and is unsealed, it will not activate the power of other crude space rune stones. About 5 crude rune stones can condense a refined rune stone, which is a commonly used unit of rune power. This box is about 10 space rune stones. Probably. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. 20,000 magic gold. As Tucker gradually opened these boxes, the boxes were mainly space rune stones, and there were as many as 7 or 8 boxes. The rest were some crude rune stones of other rune powers. Space rune stones are more expensive, about 2,000 magic gold per stone. Other rune stones are cheaper, but a box starts at least 10,000. These dozen boxes of rune stones are much more valuable than those debris and relics outside. Immediately, Tucker opened his medium-sized and large-sized extraordinary storage bracelet and began to purchase. One box after another was moved into his extraordinary storage bracelet. Fortunately, Tucker had made some preparations before, otherwise, this small treasure would really not be able to be moved by himself. Soon, these dozen boxes of rune stones were cleared out by Tucker. Among the last few boxes of these rune stone boxes, there was still a small half-box of shadow rune stones that Tucker needed. This unexpected surprise made Tucker feel even happier. In addition to these rune stones, Baggins said that there are also some metal ingots, which are rare metals that are rarely seen, and they are also good things that should not be missed. When Andre was storing the extraordinary storage bracelets and equipment outside, Tucker collected the more valuable extraordinary raw materials. When collecting other materials, Tucker was surprised again. When Tucker opened his powerful and precise vision and observed the surrounding environment, he found dragon scales in a safe treasure chest in a house. The genuine 5th-level dragon scales were stored in 2 small boxes. Each box contained more than 20 palm-sized 5th-level dark golden dragon scales. The 2 small boxes together contained almost 50 dragon scales. Tucker estimated that the 2 scattered boxes should be the private collections of 2 5th-level Dark Sun Deacons, Mark and Filler. Now, they all belong to Tucker. Chapter 132 Promotion Ceremony. Start. The resources of the Dark Sun Church are really quite a lot. Several warehouses are stockpiled with a considerable amount of materials. Fortunately, Tucker has learned a lot of alchemist knowledge from Baggins during this period. He has a general understanding of various common materials. Even if he doesn't know the specific value, Tucker can roughly judge it. Only then can Tucker stuff all the valuable things from the resource warehouse into his extraordinary storage bracelet. Not only is Tucker's own extraordinary storage bracelet full, but Baggins also lent Tucker 2 bracelets that are larger than Tucker's extraordinary storage bracelets. They are also filled to the limit by Tucker. Of course, the resources in Baggins's 2 bracelets are all resources such as metal ingot materials, and their value is much lower than Tucker's. But when they are full, they are still valuable, worth tens of thousands of magic gold. With so many resources, I can build my own magic hut in Saint Land. And, thanks to the powerful carrying capacity of the 5th-level dragon scales, and, as the level increases, my phase ability will also increase accordingly. I can even make the magic hut into a portable magic bracelet, to a certain extent. It's much more convenient than the kind of magic hut that needs to be carried on the back, in the hand, or even on a scroll. In addition, there are actually light rune stones stored here. I really don't know what the Dark Sun Church thinks. Since there are light rune stones, it is also necessary to build a light rune ring staff. Even when I am promoted to the 3rd level, I'd better lay the foundation with materials with light properties. When I was promoted to the 2nd level, the power of the Angel of Light was obviously precipitating and not blooming. When I am promoted to the 3rd level, there is a high probability that the extraordinary ability of the Angel of Light will be born. The extraordinary ability of the Angel sequence, I am looking forward to it. When feeling the supernatural storage bracelet that was stuffed full, Tucker glanced at Andrea, who was collecting the supernatural storage bracelet on the corpse not far away. Tucker laughed immediately. The extraordinary storage bracelets of these dead members of the Dark Sun Church can also carry some materials. Andre, when you collect the bracelets, leave some of the larger space for me. There are still a lot of materials here, I want to take them all. Those ordinary extraordinary bracelets are usually very small, about the size of an ordinary drawer, and can't hold much. But if there are enough of them, the things taken away are still quite objective. That is, those extraordinary storage bracelets need to be strung together with ropes and hung on the body before they can be taken away. Understood. Andre, who is not far away, responded loudly. Are there a lot of materials over there? Andre asked afterwards. Quite a lot, and if you are in a hurry to pick up equipment, you can also come over to load some materials. I'm sure I can't take all these things. Damn. I thought you would help me dig up the bodies after you finished loading the materials. Andre shook his head, trying to make himself more sober. Andre had never encountered a situation where collecting extraordinary equipment and extraordinary bracelets made him dizzy. Extraordinary weapons, extraordinary protective gear, and extraordinary storage bracelets. Some guys even have leggings, hand guards, gloves, and the like. He would take a while to dig up each corpse. With nearly 400 corpses, he felt like he didn't need to rest for the whole day. Tanaru, can you summon extraordinary creatures like the gold-sniffing beast? These extraordinary creatures are good at picking up valuable things, and they are more careful than us. Andre asked while picking up things. It's hard to summon those magical creatures. You need a certain amount of luck to encounter them, and then catch them and raise them in the ecological hut of the magical hut. When they are well trained, you can use their magical abilities. Tucker, who also started digging up corpses, said while picking up corpses near the warehouse. What if they can't be well trained? Andre asked curiously. Then put them in the pot, cook them. Andre smiled when he heard this. Then I feel that you will eat a lot of magical creatures in the future. If you can't speak, just say less. No one will dislike you for being a mute. Tucker said unhappily. Am I that kind of person? Tucker's shadow tentacles searched the corpses much faster than Andre. The shadow tentacles swept and quickly touched the spirit to analyze the size of the bracelet. If the bracelet is relatively large, Tucker will put the bracelet and the equipment and weapons on them into the storage bracelet and take the resources for himself. If it is not big enough, then the next one. Linlinson searched and looted about 150 extraordinary storage bracelets. Tucker stopped looting. Instead, he went to pack those materials. The two of them were like this in this small layer of the foreign gate that was completely cut off from the outside world, absorbing the wealth of the Dark Sun Church by looting. Unknowingly, half a day had passed. After confirming that neither he nor Andre could take away the weapons that had no place to be stored and the last few low-value materials, Tucker started to behave like a human. In a few days, as the entrance to the layer channel stabilizes, the members of the Dark Sun Church will definitely reoccupy this place. Tucker will not leave the resources that cannot be taken away to the Dark Sun Church. One hand was placed on a large box. Phase travel. With a thought, Tucker's phase travel has been activated. However, it was not Tucker who disappeared this time, but the box and the materials inside. And the direction is the deeper deep space layer. Tucker will throw all these things that cannot be taken away into the deep space layer. Tucker will not leave a copper for the Dark Sun Church. If the real dimension is a huge ice layer on the water surface, then the layer domain small world where this alien gate is located is a small piece of broken ice under the huge ice layer. Going deeper into the space dimension, there are turbulent undercurrents of space and dimension, and the bottomless deep space layer. The layer of the extraordinary world is centered on the extraordinary ecology. If the real layer has a relatively strong extraordinary ecology, then the extraordinary ecology will affect all layers and domains, gradually forming the iceberg of the space layer. At this time, the truly stable, extraordinary layer ecological world is formed. In this place, in addition to the real dimension, there are also spiritual layers, shadow layers, mirror layers, dream layers, and other incredible stable layers. A powerful extraordinary ecology must be complex, multi-layered, and multidimensional. And the St. Lander Extraordinary City is such a powerful, extraordinary layer ecological world. But no matter what the ecology is, the range of action of the extraordinary people is based on the real layer domain as an anchor point. And Tucker's phase walking obviously does not need to be based on the real layer domain as an anchor point. Not only that, more than 600 fragments, the 29th level extraordinary magical power, phase walking, can already be layer delivery. A large amount of low-priced materials are continuously thrown into the deep space layer by Tucker. In the small warehouse, as Tucker cleared out everything here, Tucker turned his head and looked at Andre. I saw a thick hemp rope hanging on each side of Andre's neck. On it were densely packed extraordinary storage bracelets, highlighting his rustic and luxurious appearance. And Tucker was not much different. After a final observation, he confirmed that there was nothing valuable left. Let's go. Tucker took Andre to walk silently and left this small world of the alien gate layer domain. As soon as they came out, Tucker vaguely smelled a little strange smell. Even the strange veins of the Dark Sun Church in the air were much stronger. Tucker looked in the direction of the Dark Sun Church, his eyes slightly condensed, and quietly examined it. Andre, as a steam demon hunter, also obviously smelled the dangerous smell in the air. We have only been in for half a day, why has the outside changed so much? Andre frowned slightly. In his impression, there are at least 4 days left. In the alternation of light and darkness, the puppet master will usher in the transformation. The higher the realm of the extraordinary, the more it must conform to the extraordinary laws of the natural ecology. The alternation of light and darkness in the Ashland only happens once every half a month. The characteristics of the world's ecological laws are particularly intense. But now it seems that the powerful puppeteer doesn't seem to want to follow the laws of the world's ecology. It's because what we do here affects the other side. Tucker said slowly. It's a good thing to disrupt the rhythm. Let's go. I guess the situation in the border town has changed. Chapter 133 Puppet Master's Ecological Cycle. River Valley Town. When Tucker and Andre arrived, the entire River Valley Town was already in a dark and silent state. The outline of the River Valley Town could be vaguely seen. But there was no light, and no noise. It was as if the River Valley Town was dead. More importantly, an inexplicable fear began to spread in Andre's heart, and he even resisted approaching the River Valley Town. He looked at the River Valley Town shrouded by the dark puppet silk thread. He looked at Andre Fan, who was a little frightened and uneasy. The ecological resistance ability is a bit weak, Tucker said secretly in his heart. Other sequence supernaturals do not pay as much attention to supernatural ecology as wizards. In addition, their own ecology is relatively small. They are more likely to show fear of various terrifying, and mysterious forces. As for wizards who explore the essence of the world, when they see anything, they like to take a deeper look at why it is like this. Analysis, cognition, and prying into the essence of the world are the most primitive curiosity of human beings. It is also the inevitable journey for the wizard sequence to summarize the rules of the world. Clang. Rune Demon Hunter Silver Blade, the blade is shiny. Andre's ring-shaped pupils are even more excited. Woo woo woo. The steam began to roar slightly. Be careful, there is danger, you follow me. At the critical moment, Andre finally overcame his fear with courage. Go. Tucker in the shadow state followed him quietly. And within Tucker's sight, a large number of dense and strange puppet threads continued to bloom and absorb from the Black River Valley to the surrounding world with a drizzle. It was like it urgently needed a certain characteristic in the world. Could it be that I cut off the layer gate, or closed the layer gate world, interrupting the puppeteer's promotion rhythm? It's possible. After all, there are a lot of veins blooming in the foreign gate, radiating to the surrounding world. Sometimes, a small key change will lead to completely different effects. It seems. Tucker looked towards the Black River Valley. The puppeteer's promotion is probably walking on a tightrope. If you are not careful, you will be doomed. Unlike my promotion, I pursue a simple and unpretentious stability. Not only is it not dangerous, it is even a bit boring. But then again, which strong man of this level is not walking on a tightrope when he is promoted? The intensity has been given to the other party, but it is obviously not enough. It still needs. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. Increase the intensity. The two quickly approached the riverside town one after the other. Passing through the terrifying curtain, the front suddenly opened up. In the rain, several flames were filled. In the strange roar, the roar of Dark Sun's evil can be vaguely heard. Hey, what happened in there? Andre saw a figure passing by in front of him and shouted hurriedly. The figure was startled, and then twisted his body and turned around. When his upper body turned around, his lower body remained the same, and his face was filled with a fearful smile. It was as if an unskilled puppeteer was manipulating his new toy. Damn it. He is controlled. The puppeteer is completing his advanced control. The second-level extraordinary person controlled by the puppet thread was almost dragged towards the two people. Swish! A knife with a shiny silver light bloomed. The head of the second-level extraordinary person was thrown and fell 4 or 5 meters away. A strange scene happened. His head bounced on the ground and flew up directly, falling to the original neck position. Andre naturally would not let him do what he wanted. Silver crosslight slash. The silver crosslight blade rushed towards the jumping head. Swish! The head was cut into 4 parts. Andre stepped forward, his figure nimbly turned into a shadow, and the rune demon hunting silver blade in his hand kept flashing the demon hunting silver light. In an instant, the man was directly chopped into more than a dozen pieces. But even so, those arms, legs and other body parts were still twisted and struggling, and even wanted to sew each other automatically. Use exorcism, Tucker said in a deep voice. Andre immediately put the demon hunting silver blade in front of his chest and chanted in a low voice. The light quickly gathered and condensed into a column of exorcism holy light in front of him, pushing away the darkness for a time. As the exorcism spell was chanted, the light poured on the broken body, the flames jumped on the body pieces, the flesh and blood hissed, and soon the body pieces were motionless. Before Andre was happy, there were already shadows swaying around, and a large number of superhumans controlled by puppet silk threads were gathering towards the two. Andre's attack attracted more puppet superhumans. Damn, what should I do, Tanaru? Andre held the rune demon hunter silver blade and was alert to the surroundings. He was not afraid of these low-level superhumans. He was afraid of the strange methods of secretly controlling these low-level superhumans. If fighting can solve the problem, it would be a good solution. But he was afraid that while killing, he himself would become a part of these puppets. He was still very alert to deal with such strange methods. Looking around, Tucker said quickly, Andre, go to sheepfold number 6, that's where you set up your purification base. Even if the puppeteer launches a sneak attack, the purification base over there can help your teammates stabilize the situation. If your teammates are not there, run away. We are no match for this level of puppeteer. Also, don't worry about these puppet transcendents, they are hopeless. Don't kill them either. If you kill them, some of the weird threads will be grafted onto you. With this grafting feature, the more you kill, the faster you die. As expected. Andre's heart was slightly shocked. Why didn't you say so earlier? I've already killed one. If you don't kill one, I won't know about this weird feature. What about the weird puppet threads grafted onto me? Self-exorcism and purification will have a good effect. Got it. Then I'll kill while I'm exorcising and purifying myself. Holding the shiny demon hunting silver blade in his hand, Andre's silver ring pupils were shining brightly. Then you should be careful. You too. Andre, who was thinking about his teammates, quickly disappeared into the depths of darkness. Tucker looked at the extraordinary people rushing around like zombies. After casting a micro-hurricane technique on himself, he moved forward rapidly in the form of a shadow. Even though those extraordinary people wanted to surround Tucker, they were still relatively stiff and slow, and Tucker easily passed through them. Obviously, the puppeteer still had some gaps to go before he could advance. Once he was allowed to complete the advancement, it would be completely different. At that time, these puppet creatures would be able to exert at least 80% to 90% of their strength as extraordinary people. If the puppeteer was fully controlling them, 100% of their combat power could be exerted. It is said that when some puppeteers have the extraordinary ability of overload, they can exert 120% or even 150% of these puppets. Of course, the practical use of this overload ability is also at the cost of burning these puppet creatures. For these stiff and not threatening puppet creatures now, Tucker kept moving forward relying on his agile body movements. Although wizards don't need body movements, Tucker had fought side by side with Blank before, and during this period, he worked with these demon hunters to clean up the herders. Under the influence of what he saw and heard, Tucker would subconsciously remember those good body movements, bursts of power and source energy, and even movements that fit the perfect trajectory. In low-intensity battles, these body movement skills are still very practical. After all, low-intensity battles in the extraordinary world are often the case in most battles. At the same time, daily maneuvers and walking, which fit the mysterious trajectory, can allow Tucker to more effectively perceive the deeper world context and trajectory from every little bit. Along the way, Tucker saw a large number of bizarre puppet extraordinary people. Among them, there are many trainee extraordinary people and first-level extraordinary people. It seems that, All the extraordinary people controlled in the entire Black River Valley have come out in full force and are conducting large-scale training. That puppet master is using this method to enhance his control ability and complete his advancement. And he is not afraid of the battles and losses of these puppet transcendents. Fighting with puppet transcendents will only accelerate the advancement of their high-level control ability. Even dispelling may not work. Thinking this way, Tucker couldn't help but narrow his eyes slightly. These puppet threads are constantly spewing out from the Black River Valley Tower and then absorbed back. It's as if they are completing their own ecological cycle. In fact, he is using the steam tower to promote this cycle. Dispelling will only accelerate this cycle. The most likely scenario is that the puppet master is using these foreign demon hunters and the power guided from Saint Land to fight against them, and at the same time using them as his own whetstone to accelerate his advancement. If that's the case. Thinking about it, Tucker's eyes were faintly filled with fierce light. Then this puppet master is really looking for death? Chapter 134 Puppet Ecology vs. Steam Wizard. This bunch of damn bastards. Holding his whale, looking through the projection window. Baggins's small eyes carefully and solemnly examined those superhumans with strange behaviors. Regret, annoyance, and cautious emotions were brewing in his heart. Baggins remembered Tucker's instructions. If something abnormal happens, escape immediately. He did prepare in this way. But after eating and drinking and getting up from a good sleep, he found that the world outside had changed. It was too late for him to escape. Outside, there were superhumans with extremely abstract behaviors, just like those street artists in Saint Land. Those weird superhumans who appeared outside, like puppets, had trouble walking at first. But after a few hours, these superhumans could already walk in a more weird posture. If this continues, soon those superhumans will behave like normal superhumans. There were superhumans who said that they went deep into the ashland and found a small town in the valley. Even the residents of the town warmly accepted them. But as time went on, they found that the villagers were behaving abnormally. For example, some people got stuck in the corner and didn't know how to turn. Some people crossed the river without crossing the bridge, but waded directly through the river. Fortunately, they found it early and ran out with the spoils at night. Otherwise, after staying in the puppet ecological zone built by the puppeteer for a period of time, they would all become puppets of the puppeteer. And now, Baggins knew very well that he was in the puppeteer's ecological zone. And it was also the ecology of a mid-level puppeteer promoted to a high-level puppeteer. Baggins had felt the drag of the puppet silk threads through the magic alchemy hut. The magic alchemy hut had been pulled by some silk threads. Once the puppeteer completed the advancement, even if he hid in the magic alchemy hut, he might not be able to survive. Now, all his hopes were on the steam wizard named Tanaru. "You are still here." The sudden voice almost made Baggins, who was nervous, go off. When he turned around and saw the face clearly, Baggins immediately laughed. "My old friend, you are finally back." Baggins wanted to give Tucker a big hug. Tucker dodged in with a shadow. "It's only been half a day since we last met, and I have become your old friend." Tucker smiled. "Our friendship is heavier than the mountains of Wistana." Baggins waved his arms loudly and said in a firm tone. At this time, Baggins also saw the extraordinary storage bracelets hanging on Tucker's body. His two small eyes suddenly widened. "Oh, great god of furnace and craftsman, what did you do?" "Of course, I killed all the guards at the foreign gate. These are all spoils of war," Tucker said nonchalantly. "You really did it?" Baggins' voice trembled a little. "Of course." Tucker shook the bunch of extraordinary storage bracelets. A dull collision sounded. "These are all witnesses." As he spoke, Tucker hung a large number of extraordinary storage bracelets on the storage rack. Now Tucker was somewhat envious of this magical alchemy hut. Who doesn't want to have a small movable house? "I'll take you across the river later, and then you can escape to the direction of St. Lander. Now almost all forces are in confrontation, and no one will care about your escape. Of course, you may not be the only one who escapes. Just in case, take your sprayer and your scroll." At this time, Baggins touched the storage bracelet that Tucker hung on the storage rack with his rough palm. The anger, hatred, regret, despair, and pain in his heart in the past were completely vented at this moment. For a moment, Baggins felt that his soul was trembling. That was a sublimated feeling. That damn revenge was what he dreamed of. "How did they die?" Baggins asked with a deep breath. "Although I really want to light the fireplace with you, open a barrel of strong liquor, and drink while talking in detail about the details of those damn Dark Sun believers who were burned to death. But, now we need to escape first. Tucker looked at Baggins. Burned to death? I like this method. I guess they must be very desperate. Baggins was in a particularly good mood at this time, and of course he began to prepare. Get ready, I will go out to block the surrounding puppet transcendence, and you take the opportunity to collect your magical alchemy hut. Understood. A face traveled outside. Tucker pinched a nightmare fire oil bomb and pressed it hard on the ground. A circle of fire expanded 10 meters around Tucker as the center. The flames were more than 2 meters high, forming a circle of fire walls. The burning flames were filled with a breath of holy light, which made the puppets that were already contaminated by the Dark Sun dare not directly pass through the flames. Baggins took the opportunity to run out quickly and began to collect his magical alchemy hut. As Baggins collected, Tucker clearly felt that there was a force in the darkness that noticed him. Then, the dense and strange puppet threads, like a tide, surged and roared. Tucker released the magic micro-hurricane, which had been secretly prepared. The firewall formed by the nightmare fire oil bomb suddenly surged under the urging of the micro-hurricane, and gathered from all sides to form a huge fire barrier in the shape of a bowl upside down on the ground. Wind and fire. The linkage effect of these two kinds of witchcraft is also very good. It is very suitable for fighting against large-scale scattered and dense, but not very aggressive means. Moreover, flames do have a good burning effect on puppet threads. Burning is a natural means of restraining threads. The dense silk threads press down fiercely. Fortunately, Tucker's nightmare fire oil bomb has reached level 29, and its own firepower is not weak. In addition, the blessing of the micro-hurricane with a certain rune power. It resisted the strange puppet threads that surged like a wave. The ecological activity of high-level extraordinary people has begun to show. These strange threads will find their enemies and then launch attacks. Tucker frowned as he felt the strange puppet threads coming from all directions and launching waves of attacks on his firewall barrier. Baggins, are you ready? Tucker asked in a deep voice. Almost ready. Baggins responded quickly. Tucker was furious when he saw it. Only 1/3 was drawn out, and you told me it was almost ready? Looking at the increasing number of strange threads outside, Tucker took a deep breath as he realized that if he continued like this, he would definitely not be able to withstand the current two witchcrafts. Woo woo woo. The roar of steam stirred from the depths of Tucker's steam sequence ecology. Source energy steam quickly stirred and spewed out from Tucker's ears and noses. Waves of powerful steam source energy fluctuations spread from Tucker's body. The steam source energy of the steam wizard was truly mobilized by Tucker. Steam source energy, almost at an instantaneous response speed, was madly poured into the micro-hurricane and nightmare fire oil bombs. In an instant, these two spells, as if they had taken a 10-in-1 tonic pill, were at full fire. The flames of the nightmare fire oil bomb began to show a hazy steam state, and the flames were scorching. The micro-hurricane was even more violent and agitated, further stimulating the flames to the extreme. Burning all the weird puppet threads that gathered from all directions, it highlighted the unstoppable force of wind and fire. As a steam wizard, Tucker, generally speaking, he would not easily activate the steam sequence state. Under normal conditions, Tucker can mobilize ordinary source energy and attack with conventional witchcraft means. These are all very concealed. Once the steam sequence is activated, the roar of the steam furnace and the steam vision will inevitably bloom. When it explodes slightly, it can still be effectively controlled. But when the real sequence is fully activated, the roar of the steam sequence will run through the entire world. The steam sequence is not naturally concealed. With the extraordinary talent of 1650% SSS level steam in origin spirit state, Tucker's steam source energy response speed is amazingly fast. And the efficiency of steam source energy injection is also incredibly fast. This makes Tucker's witchcraft, when activated by steam sequence, particularly powerful. The troubles of having too strong talent are not experienced by ordinary people. Tucker, who needs to hide his identity to a certain extent, most of the time, will not show too much ferocity of his steam sequence. But now, it is obviously not necessary to hide. Tucker, with a roar of steam, confronts the strong puppet silk thread ecology with a certain vitality with a tough attitude. Dare to come over, all burned. Chapter 135 The Terrifying Silk Thread Wave. Tucker's fierce resistance of steam roaring obviously angered those puppet threads that had just begun to develop spirituality. Soon, More and more puppet threads gathered together, like gluttonous pythons and bloodthirsty vines. They quickly gathered from the depths of darkness. In a short period of time, the number of puppet threads increased by more than 10 times. And their goal was the flame barrier constructed by the wind and fire witchcraft linkage driven by the steam source constructed by Tucker. Hoo-la-la. The gathered puppet thread vines gathered into a wave of puppet threads more than 10 meters high. A huge world of puppet threads was woven in front of Tucker. Then, this wave of puppet threads suddenly pressed down. The strength of spirituality is more amazing than I thought. Is the puppet master about to complete the advancement? Tucker frowned slightly. Tucker was in a hurry all the way here and had no time to carefully feel the situation inside the puppet threads. However, in this chaotic situation, Tucker may not be able to feel too much by touch perception. After all, touch perception also requires a stable environment. Boom! The wave of puppet silk threads pressed down fiercely. The witchcraft wind and fire barrier constructed by Tucker was obviously depressed by it. When it was about to be broken, Tucker continued to increase the input of steam source energy while rubbing his fingers. Woo woo woo. With a roar of steam, the steam around Tucker was hazy, and a large amount of steam source energy was poured into the nightmare flame and hurricane. Only then did he block the fierce puppet silk thread wave again. It is difficult for others to replenish the source energy after the witchcraft has been completed. It is necessary to construct means such as Spirit Bridge Rune to carry out source energy bridging. For Tucker, this is just a means attached to the SSS level talent steam source spiritual state. It is no problem to invest steam source energy to extend or even enhance the witchcraft. Relying on these two spells, Tucker can resist for a long time. Alright. At this time, Baggins on the side shouted immediately. Go. Tucker grabbed Baggins's shoulder. With a phase walk, the two disappeared at the same time. Tucker retreated. The dense and strange puppet threads immediately broke through the defense and poured in violently. The stones and pillars here were torn to pieces, and even the ground was lifted up half a meter thick. Facing these strange and bizarre puppet threads, the shadow walking might be caught on the spot. It is safer to walk in phases. After 2 phases of walking, Tucker had already arrived near the sheepfold. As Tucker looked, as expected, deep in the sheepfold, the exorcist altar had already propped up a protective barrier. The puppet threads, which were dozens of times more than the spiritual puppet threads that besieged Tucker before, densely covered the location of the exorcist altar. Tucker even saw some unlucky exorcists being controlled by the puppet threads. These exorcists, as well as some local extraordinary people, were attacking the area protected by the exorcist altar. The foreign exorcist who relied on the exorcism altar was struggling to support himself. In just 2 glances, a large number of puppet threads were quickly entangled around. Tucker took Baggins and left immediately. The riverside town covered by the puppet threads had the characteristics of curtain barrier at the edge. It would make the extraordinary people turn around inside and could not get out at all, and eventually become puppets under the threads. But for Tucker, it was just a matter of phase travel. After several phase travels, Tucker had brought Baggins to the river. Then Tucker put one hand on Baggins. In an instant, Baggins also entered the shadow state. Tucker took Baggins and floated quickly along the river. Tanaru, your shadow method is really magical. Feeling his body in the shadow state, Baggins, who was out of danger, couldn't help but admire. As a 3rd-level alchemist, Baggins has been stuck at level 39 for a long time. It is very difficult to be promoted to the 4th level and become a mid-level alchemist. After all, the alchemist sequence, are not as easy to digest potions and promotion materials as the combat sequence. Shadow state, as the basic form of the extraordinary state, can barely be regarded as half of the extraordinary state. This is also one of the few opportunities for him to feel the extraordinary state. It's a pity that we alchemists can forge these weapons, but we can't use them. Just like this shadow ring staff, if I dare to drive it, it will dare to use the power of shadow to kill me. Different extraordinary sequences have different characteristics and tendencies of extraordinary sequences. Tucker, who was carrying Baggins, said softly, even if I learned how to forge extraordinary weapons, if you let me forge them, I can only hammer out a piece of scrap metal for you. Haha. That's true. Tucker's speed was very fast. It didn't take long for Tucker to cross the river that was several kilometers wide. After crossing the river, without the interference of the Black River Valley, Tucker could more clearly feel the roar from the St. Lander steam tower in the source energy layer. The steam ecology of Saintland is spontaneously maintaining its own multi-domain ecological world. At the same time, the roar of these source energy domains is also transmitting power at this moment, suppressing and attacking the advancement of the puppeteer in the Black River Valley. Leave quickly, don't look back. After crossing the river, Tucker ordered calmly. Glancing at Tucker, Baggins immediately carried his heavy magical alchemy hut scroll and carried the steam short-handled shotgun, wailing, following the path and running away. As he gradually moved away from the Black River Valley and gradually got out of danger, Baggins's hanging heart gradually fell. When he looked back, he could no longer see the figure of the steam wizard. All he could see was the heavy and terrifying darkness. Baggins took a deep breath and clenched the wailing in his hand, carefully examining the darkness. Damn bastard, don't die there. Tucker turned back again. Just like strolling in the garden, he re-entered the riverside town. Even as Tucker moved forward, some puppet threads on his fingertips were still jumping. In the chaotic state, Tucker could not feel much information. But Tucker had already felt some useful information. That is, this puppet ecosystem was indeed driven by the steam tower to complete control and transformation. At the same time, the transformation progress of the puppeteer was getting faster and faster. Although I don't know how the other party did it. But, as the current situation continues, it is difficult to stop the advancement of the puppeteer. We must speed up the action. Tucker quickly passed by the last hope of the town, supported by the demon hunters in Area 6 of the sheepfold. Area 6 of the sheepfold. Andre leaned against the glass window with an extremely ugly face. What the demon hunters, are best at fighting is the power from the dark. The power from the dark sun is also the same, and they will be restrained. But this time, the puppeteer bishop of the Dark Sun Church is very cunning. It uses the steam tower to drive the most primitive puppet threads to complete the large-scale attack. Although, this puppet thread will also have some of the Dark Sun characteristics of the Dark Sun Bishop. However, most of the power is the most primitive power of the puppet master. It is not too restrained by their exorcism power. This also leads to the fact that their greatest characteristics as demon hunters cannot be brought into play. Without the demon hunting characteristics, they do not have much advantage over ordinary extraordinary people. There are less than half of the 130 or 40 demon hunters in the confrontation for several hours. Those demon hunters who failed in the confrontation were either dragged into the darkness and disappeared, or they were torn to pieces on the spot by the puppet threads. Fortunately, the exorcism holy light on the altar is strong enough. It can help them fight for a while longer. But as those puppet threads become more and more powerful, and as the puppet master is promoted, their hope of survival has begun to fade. The puppet threads are so dense that they completely cover the line of sight, as majestic as a mountain. As the puppet threads gather into a wave, they sweep down. 2 more unlucky guys were dragged away in the torrent of puppet threads, screaming and disappearing into the darkness. Just when despair was brewing in his heart. I need your help. At this moment, Andre suddenly heard a familiar voice. He turned his head and saw the steam wizard Tanaru, who was wearing a gray wizard robe and a hood and liked to hide in the shadows. Damn it. It's me who needs your help. Help us get rid of these weird silk tentacles. With a low roar, Andre tried his best to activate his 2 steam cores, and pushed the exorcism holy light and purification properties to the extreme, so that he could more effectively fight against those pervasive weird puppet threads. These puppet threads can be solved, and even the puppeteers behind the puppet threads can be solved together. Tucker said quickly without any nonsense. We need the cooperation of all of you. Andre, who knew the wizard Tanaru, did not hesitate at all. The situation can't get any worse than it is now. Tell me, what should I do? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 136. The plan is probably like this. Tucker quickly explained his plan. Inside the number 6 sheepfold where the puppet wave was surging, the exorcist holy light supported by the altar barely prevented the puppet silk thread from directly demolishing the sheepfold. But the exorcists and the extraordinary people who took refuge here knew that it was a matter of time. After listening to Tucker's explanation, the 2 vice presidents of the Holy Emblem Silver Crossbow Guild where Andre was, Frida and Mary Jo, looked at each other and saw the incredible in each other's eyes. Are you sure that this is something you, a small second-level steam wizard, can do? You have to know that he is a bishop of the Dark Sun Church who is about to complete a high-level promotion. After looking at each other, they both looked at the steam hunter Andre at the same time. If it weren't for Tanalu, I wouldn't have gotten so many spoils on my previous adventure. 2 5th-level Dark Sun Deacons and more than a dozen 4th-level Dark Sun Deacons also died in the joint efforts of the two of us. I believe in Tanalu unconditionally. At the critical moment, Andre did not hesitate at all and fully supported Tucker. And, even if we escape, how many people can escape? Our resistance has completely angered those spiritual puppet threads, and the puppet threads outside are like mountains. This is very likely our only way to survive, and even, it may be the only way to survive for the demon hunters who are resisting in the other 2 border towns. Andre's words made the 2 vice presidents' hearts tremble slightly. Yes, although the actions of the steam wizard named Tanalu are bold and dangerous, it can even be said to be a test on the edge of death. But they may have no choice. I agree. Female Vice President Mary Jo, after her eyes wandered around Tucker, nodded quickly. In that case, let's get started. Frida, the bearded vice president of the demon hunters, nodded carefully. Then his voice bloomed in a low voice with source energy resonance. All demon hunters gather around. No matter what method you use, you must resist the attack of the puppet threads. The Holy Spirit exorcism light of the exorcism altar must be gathered. The voice resounded in everyone's ears. What? This decision made all the demon hunters who were still fighting against the puppet threads tremble in their hearts. Originally, they were in the area protected by the altar. They borrowed the power of the Holy Spirit exorcism light of the altar, plus their own purification and dispersal power, so that they could barely resist the waves of attacks. Now, they had to gather the power of the Holy Spirit exorcism light. This is our only chance to survive. Following the low and solemn order of Vice President Frida, immediately, the captains of the teams immediately led their team members to gather around the altar, prop up the exorcism holy light around them, and built a human wall barrier. Frida and Mary Jo, 2 vice presidents, were on the altar, one on the left and one on the right, maintaining the operation of the altar while also protecting Tucker. Let's get started. Vice President Frida said in an unusually low voice. This is almost a life or death struggle. If this steam wizard fails, they will all die. The only good news is that the worst outcome will not be worse than this. With the operation of the 2 vice presidents, the power of the Holy Spirit's exorcism light on the altar began to gather and converge. Tucker, who took a deep breath to gather his mind, quickly released his spiritual perception and began his own operation. The Bishop of the Dark Sun Church, Puppet Master. The most cunning thing is that he uses the steam tower to complete the ecological cycle and uses the extraordinary control of the entire city-state as his promotion training ceremony. Once he completes the promotion, within the ecology, all the extraordinary people controlled by him will die. Because of the steam source energy tower, the power of the Dark Sun circulates in the steam tower, and only regular puppet threads come out. The restraint that Saint Land had brought to the demon hunters was almost completely wiped out by the steam tower. At the same time, the power from Saint Land's steam tower was also blocked by the steam tower in the Black River Valley. Confrontation. It will only speed up the transformation and promotion of the puppeteer. The problem is easy to solve. That is to destroy the steam tower in the Black River Valley. But the Dark Sun Church, which has long infiltrated the Black River Valley, probably thinks so too. They want the strong men of Saint Land to give up the powerful ecology of Saint Land itself and come to the Black River Valley to confront. Whoever dares to enter the Black River Valley, I'm afraid, will die. This promotion is a trap, a deterrent, and a game. Even now, Tucker is not sure whether the strong men of Saint Land will launch an attack on the Black River Valley. But no matter what the strong men of Saint Land do, it will not delay Tucker's operation. Today, Tucker is going to teach a good lesson to Bruno Fold, the puppeteer who is promoted from level 69 to level 70, one of the 3 bishops who attacked Lamore. Don't bloom your ecology easily, because then your soul will be touched. Yes, Tucker's current operation is to touch the soul of the puppeteer. Before, Tucker had already felt that the puppeteer was absorbing something around the Black River Valley ecology. Along the way, Tucker was observing carefully, and even let those puppet threads attach a small amount to himself, carefully feeling and touching the soul to explore what the puppet threads were absorbing. In the end, Tucker confirmed it. It was something called life veins. The world has its own trajectory and veins. Life forms also have their own life veins. And as life flows on the time scale, life veins will also bloom. It can be said that life veins are always blooming slightly on people, just like the breath of life. When you see the puppet threads flying all over the sky, they are collecting life veins. Tucker was silenced. If you had collected something that was not so sparse, my SSS level precise vision plus SSS level origin spiritual state would not have taken me so long to find it. In order to absorb such a sparse and ordinary thing, you made too much noise. Soon, Tucker realized that he might be able to use this point to do something. Before, he wanted to use the opponent's circulating puppet silk thread veins to anchor some unclean things, pollute the opponent, thereby interrupting the opponent's promotion, or even severely injuring the opponent. But now Tucker knows that the opponent is collecting life veins. Then things began to become interesting. The puppeteer's puppet silk thread is woven with the power of the soul. If the life vein constructed by Tucker is directly anchored on the opponent's soul, it would be very, very interesting. Give me a point, and I can shoot it. This is what Tucker is doing at this moment. There are many people around. Therefore, the life veins are also very rich. Using his own steam, origin spiritual state, Tucker constantly gathered these scattered life veins, and then woven them into thin life threads. As expected, with the birth of this life thread, those puppet threads immediately dragged the life thread constructed by Tucker towards the location of the Black River Valley Tower with great joy, and circulated it. Tucker was like flying a kite, quickly letting out these threads. Soon Tucker felt that the life thread was pulled into a huge extraordinary ecology. Then these life threads were quickly absorbed, digested, decomposed, and scattered to every corner of the extraordinary ecology. And through Tucker's hands, the life veins were also carefully polished by Tucker using the steam, origin spiritual state to put his blooming life veins into it. As those life veins were absorbed by the extraordinary ecology, in Tucker's precise vision, the outline of his specially made life veins gradually appeared. Deep in the steam tower layer, in the spiritual layer that was not very large, Puppet Master Bruno Fold is using the steam tower to bloom his puppet threads. At this moment, Puppet Master Bruno Fold instantly felt that the life veins were much richer. He couldn't feel the life veins, but he could feel the speed of the puppet threads in the ecology to build the ecology. Good harvest. Puppet Master Bruno Fold's smile became brighter and brighter. In another 3 hours, at most 4 hours, I will complete the advancement. The more critical the moment, the more, be careful. Although the layer dimension of this spiritual world layer can allow me to hide well, and there are steam towers outside as a barrier. But still be careful of the crazy people in Saint Land. Thinking this way, the Puppet Master Bruno Fold, who is on alert, gathered his mind and continued to complete his advancement. Tanneru, we can't hold on any longer, how long will it take? Andre's low roar came from Tucker's ear, and Andre had begun to lose control of his body. Several of his teammates had been dragged into the depths of darkness. Tucker took a deep breath and slowly opened his eyes. It's done. As the words fell, Tucker reached into the huge exorcist light ball that he had accumulated for so long and had become 1 meter in diameter. Phase. Taking a deep breath, the extraordinary magical power has been activated. Precision. Correction. Tucker discarded all external interference and aimed at the ecological soul of the puppeteer Bruno Fold in the small spiritual world. Shooting. As Tucker gently opened the spell, there was no sign, no warning, and even Bruno Fold himself did not have any strange perception. The burning holy light ball from the exorcist's Holy Spirit just entered his extraordinary ecology directly, infused into the depths of his soul that was precipitated with a large amount of dark sun power and was about to transform. Bruno Fold, who opened his extraordinary ecology, was stunned at first. Immediately, fear, distortion, and despair instantly bloomed on his face and in the depths of his soul. No. Accompanied by a desperate cry. Boom, a huge rumble in the depths of the layer dimension. Accompanied by the blooming veins of the Black River Valley Steam Tower, it resounded throughout the world. Chapter 137 The Blasphemer in Saint Lander. Susanna Rudolph was dragged into the depths of darkness by the strange puppet threads. She struggled desperately, but it was useless. No matter how she waved the dagger in her hand, she could not break free from the terrifying puppet threads. As she was dragged farther and farther, the light became weaker and weaker. Her heart sank deeper and deeper into the darkness. Finally, she was dragged to a stone pillar carved with strange pictures and texts. Dense threads poured into her body, absorbing her vitality, soul, and even destroying her ecology. The promotion of high-level extraordinary people is like a huge steam ecological anomaly. It is necessary to absorb a large amount of basic extraordinary characteristics to lay the foundation. And those who are caught will be the cold skeletons of the extraordinary sequence of the high-level extraordinary people who are about to be born. Just when Susanna was about to accept her fate in despair, the surrounding threads suddenly stagnated. Then all the puppet threads in the darkness seemed to go crazy, twisting and twitching madly in the air. Even the puppet threads that originally controlled her broke free from her body and joined the crazy and twisted carnival. Before Susanna could react, boom, a huge, low, and shocking explosion, rumbling like a volcanic eruption. The whole world seemed to be shaking. And the direction of the explosion was the Black River Valley Tower. Then, a rich, extreme and brilliant light from the steam tower of the Black River Valley, it bloomed in all directions along the dense puppet threads. It was like a gorgeous and huge firework was lit on the Black River Valley Tower. This light was so rich that it lit up the Black River Valley and the town on the edge of the valley. Even the extraordinary people who fled across the river were illuminated by the sudden light, which illuminated the way forward. For a moment, the whole world was quiet. Everyone quietly examined this incredible scene, watching the gorgeous huge fireworks slowly come to an end. The light was so familiar that Susanna could smell some of the exorcist holy light. As the huge fireworks gradually weakened and dissipated, the puppet threads that had just been like a catastrophe also disappeared. Susanna suddenly realized, is the nightmare-like disaster finally coming to an end? In the ruins where the original sheepfold was no longer visible, the two vice presidents, Frida and Mary Jo, slowly retracted their gazes. Then their eyes fell on the steam wizard Tanaru. Why are you looking at me? Tucker spread his hands slightly. You killed the man. I am just a porter of holy light. The two of them froze slightly. Strictly speaking, the Dark Sun Bishop, who wanted to be promoted to a high level, was indeed killed by the two of them. They even felt the source energy feedback from the demon hunters after hunting. Rich, pure, and vast. They can directly use this source energy to upgrade their levels. They killed the man, but they are not a murderer. Things are starting to become strange. As the crisis of the puppet thread was resolved, the demon hunters and extraordinary people who were dragged into the darkness were also released. Many extraordinary people who were still in fear gathered towards their gathering point from all directions. Soon, the demon hunters and extraordinary people at the gathering points of the three border towns almost made the same decision. That is to escape. Escape from the Black River Valley quickly. There are too many strange things here. It was not easy to get rid of the terrifying puppet thread. Who knows what will happen next? Leaving here as soon as possible will have the hope of survival. The afterglow of the light that bloomed almost along the Black River Valley. The surviving extraordinary people fled the Black River Valley and headed for the Saint Land extraordinary city-state. Light reflected in the depths of the pupils of the witch Archbishop Ada Hicks. There was a faint anger beating in her pupils. The ceremony has begun. The Saint Land strongmen did not dare to show up. She had expected this scene a long time ago. Those Saint Rand's strong men would never go out easily if they were not sure of winning. But this also fell into Ada Hicks's plan. What she wanted was to find opportunities in the game. In another 3 or 4 hours, the puppeteer Bruno Ford will complete his promotion. Although, because of the change at the alien gate, the life veins that Bruno Ford absorbed were cut off. Fortunately, they were well prepared, the extraordinary people controlled in the Black River Valley, and those powerful alien demon hunters. They were all catalysts for Bruno Ford's promotion. Moreover, the life characteristics of those alien life forms are different from those of the life forms in this world. Absorbing their life characteristics can also help Bruno Ford better stabilize his extraordinary ecology. As long as Bruno Ford completes his promotion, they will be able to have more confidence in dealing with Saint Rand. The plan and the steps to be taken are undoubtedly good. But suddenly, Bruno Ford exploded. Things happened so suddenly, so beyond everyone's expectations. So when the explosion happened, Ada Hicks didn't react until she reacted. When she reacted and wanted to figure out what happened, Bruno Ford just disappeared. But they still saw some information. Bruno Ford was purified by the holy light of the demon hunters. Promotion. It is in an unbalanced state. What's more, Bruno Ford is at a critical period of promotion. The demon hunting holy light is undoubtedly crucial to breaking the balance. The problem lies with those demon hunters. Logically speaking, they should go out and destroy those demon hunters. But the witch Archbishop Ada Hicks looked at the tidal vampires of the Blood Clan Temple on the left and the Blood Wolves of the Totem Temple on the right. In addition, the Saint Land extraordinary people who are hiding in the depths of the river, above the clouds, and in the darkness are in and may kill at any time. Even if she is a high-level extraordinary person, she dare not act rashly. If she acted rashly, it would be what the Saint Rand strongmen would like to see. Just like in Lamore, the Saint Rand strongmen did not dare to come to help. Now, she, Archbishop Ada Hicks, also did not dare to pursue easily. Moreover, it is still unclear what caused the incredible means. What if there is really a top demon hunter hiding in it? She can't withstand such an explosion. Taking a deep breath, Ada Hicks swallowed the anger of her partner's death alive. As expected, the mocking words came soon. You people from the Dark Sun Temple actually released such huge fireworks. It's really pleasing to the eye, adding a little fun to this boring night. If you avenge your men, I think this will definitely be a wonderful night. What do you think? Respected Witch Lady Ada Hicks. The vampire Marcus Louis Vi was as elegant as ever, but under the elegant appearance, it was covered with bloodthirstiness and madness. Sir Witch Lady Ada Hicks, if you are willing, the two of us will join forces tonight to eliminate those damn demon hunters from this northern ashland. Not far away, the standing and walking blood wolf Ken Pitt walked over with a sneer. With his steps, he also restored his human form, with short brown hair, rough and protruding cheeks, a fierce temperament, and upright dragon wolf pupils. Before we investigate the problem, any action is a risky move. Compared to the two powerful Blood Clan and Wolf Clan who also hold the Archbishop's seat, Ada Hicks knew it very well. These two beasts wanted her to die tonight. Naturally, she would not do as they wished. Looking at Saint Rand in the depths of darkness, Ada Hicks spoke slowly. Lord Guardian of the Holy Crown is about to arrive at the northern border. The Blood Clan Marcus Louis Vi and the Wolf Clan Archbishop Ken Pitt were both slightly shocked. Lord Guardian of the Holy Crown is a powerful existence who has opened up the territory and protected the Son of God on the East Continent. His strength is even stronger than these archbishops. If Lord Guardian of the Holy Crown comes, then doesn't it mean Son of God, His Highness Wendell will also come? Ken Pitt, Archbishop of the Wolf Clan, asked in a low voice. Yes. Ada Hicks nodded slightly. They come for blasphemers. The faith of the great dark sun cannot be blasphemed. Divine punishment is about to fall on Saint Rand who protects blasphemers. Chapter 138 Rain Curtain, Hut, Story. Although the rain still splashed on Andre's cheeks, and the cold river water had already soaked his clothes. But Andre, who was lying on the edge of the river and gasping for breath, felt that he was truly alive now. Just now, it was too dangerous on the other side of the river. Several of his teammates were all pulled into the depths of darkness by the terrifying strange silk threads. He even thought that they were going to be wiped out. As a result, Taniru completed the fatal blow. Most of the people pulled into the darkness also survived. Looking at the deep and depressing darkness on the other side of the river, Andre spit fiercely. This damn ashland. Captain. Captain Andre. Soon Andre heard a voice calling him in the dark rain upstream. Here. Touching his full stomach, Andre turned around and looked at the rushing river. You must learn to walk on the water, or at least learn to breathe underwater. Damn, I feel like I haven't had to drink water for 3 days. Soon, Susanna found Andre. Captain, you should learn a swimming skill. I know. Andre was depressed. But then again, Captain, you swam really fast just now, although you sank fast. Susanna couldn't help laughing. She finally relaxed her tense heartstrings after surviving the disaster. I threw my armor to the bottom of the river. This damn river. When we came here, it only flooded my knees. Who knew that the river would surge so violently during the rainy season? Where's Tanilu? Andre climbed up the riverbank and looked around. All he saw were a large number of demon hunters holding lanterns and umbrellas to keep out the rain. But there was no sign of Tanilu. I don't know, he should have left. Looking around, Susanna shook her head. Although she did not witness the method of the steam wizard Tanilu's attack, the captain had already told her. Perhaps, his name is not Tanilu. At this time, 2 vice presidents came in the rain. Not Tanilu. Andre's eyes narrowed slightly. He was a little surprised before. When he asked someone in the guild's magic network about such a powerful guy, there was no powerful extraordinary person named Tanalu. The blasphemer Tucker. Soon, a name that was very popular in Saint Land during this period of time came to Andre's mind. Even in the dungeon of Saint Land, it has become a well-known name. It is very likely him. The speaker was Vice President Mary Jo. I have a lot of information about Lamore and the blasphemer Tucker. Interestingly, this person named Tanalu once worked with Tucker, and even took some of Tucker's blame. For example, the killing of the A-level extraordinary genius of the Dark Sun Church was nominally done by Tanalu. Actually, it was done by Tucker. As far as I know, this blasphemer Tucker is most likely a steam wizard, and his level is not high. In this regard, this steam wizard named Tanalu also almost perfectly meets the requirements. Their appearance is also very similar. As Vice President Mary Jo explained. Andre gradually laughed, and laughed happily. I guess his next stop is Saint Rand, right? It is likely so. Very good. Andre looked in the direction of Saint Rand. The vampires and werewolves in the Saint Lander underground city have been rampant recently. I think we will see that guy again soon. But, before that, I have to improve my strength. That guy's methods are really confusing. The rain curtain, still. But when approaching Saint Lander, the rain is no longer so violent and cold. Tucker, holding a shield and holding a night terror lantern, floated in the muddy wasteland grass about 1 meter away in a shadow state, moving forward slowly. Compared with other extraordinary people, wizards are more able to adapt to various strange ecological environments. Ocean, sky, swamp, forest, underground. In various environments, wizards can find a way to live that suits them through witchcraft bracelets, witchcraft abilities, etc. At this time, Tucker walked forward, while carefully feeling the puppet threads wrapped around his fingers. The most powerful thing about puppet masters is the puppet threads. When the puppet master died, a large number of puppet threads also shattered with his death. But Tucker cut off a part of it to prevent it from being affected. Then, Tucker used the extraordinary crystal of another puppeteer mark that he had obtained before to foster these puppet threads. The puppeteer mark who died in the small world of the Alien Gate. He was a 5th level puppeteer and his strength was not weak. Although part of his extraordinary crystal was purified by exorcism. But most of it was still preserved, and the essential characteristics of the puppeteer were still preserved. At this time, what Tucker felt and explored was the rather wonderful puppet thread. Life veins are something that everyone has and blooms all the time. But the collection method of those puppeteers dare not say that it is inefficient, it can only be said that it is almost non-existent. But for Tucker, it is a little different. Tucker, who has the original spiritual state and precise correction, can collect as much as he wants. Puppet threads can be completely virtualized, as if they do not exist, and can also become a powerful means to control the enemy. If these puppet threads can be used, Tucker can build his own magical hut or even a super wizard tower in the future, and he can also use means such as steam magic net to make the puppet threads play an amazing effect. After a long time, Tucker wrapped the puppet threads around the puppet crystals and gathered them together. It's really a bit complicated. The puppet ecology in the activated state needs to absorb the life veins, and the life veins are gradually processed through the puppet master sequence ecology, and finally woven into puppet threads. It's like a huge factory. It's still very different from the wizard ecology. Don't worry, take it step by step, and study it slowly. After all, I don't need a complex system like the puppet master to explore, absorb, and absorb the life veins. I can see and easily absorb a large amount of life veins, which is still a great advantage. Tucker looked in the direction of Saint Rand while thinking. First of all, I have to find a good place to stay in Saint Land, so that I can better develop and grow steadily in Saint Land, and improve my own strength. The closer to Saint Land, the more extraordinary people appear. Some people even approach with bad intentions. When the Black River Valley erupted with amazing rumblings and gorgeous fireworks, Baggins saw a large number of extraordinary people in the wasteland. There are still 3 days before the Grey Date. Before the Grey Date, Saint Land will not open the Magic Long Bridge. During this period, wandering in the wasteland outside the Magic Long Bridge may lead to looting. Baggins wisely hid in the crooked bushes on a small hill, instead of being outside in the cold and frightened. Isn't it nice to roast fire, drink and eat meat in the magic alchemy hut? Baggins just lit the fireplace and changed his clothes wet by the rain. He heard a dull sound knocking on the crooked tree trunk. Someone found his hiding place. This immediately made Baggins nervous and angry. When he was holding his wailing and observing the projection window, he just happened to see a familiar face opposite the projection window, which seemed to be observing him. Tanaru. My old friend, we meet again so soon. Baggins opened the door happily and gave Tucker a big hug. This time Tucker did not hide again. Is the matter of Black River Valley over? It's over. Tucker nodded. I guess the huge explosion just now must have something to do with you, right? It's indeed related to me. Haha. That's great. Baggins couldn't help but dance with joy. An explosion of that level would definitely cause heavy losses to Black River Valley. This is a perfect revenge for the extraordinary people in Black River Valley who have been chasing him for a while. The fire in the fireplace has been lit, and there is a lot of wine. I think I have enough time to listen to you tell your deeds. My group of children, they love to listen to adventure stories the most. Every time I go out, after returning, they pester me to tell adventure stories. Tucker also laughed. I'm very happy to do so. I just want to listen to what happened to Saint Land. The rain outside was still pouring. In the magical alchemy hut, in front of the warm fireplace, the two drank happily and talked about Saint Land, Black River Valley, and even many stories about Lawmore. Chapter 139. This is Saint Rand. The Grey Night is about to end. Saint Land has ushered in a new round of grey dates. As the first blood-colored light from the sky shines on the earth, Saint Land, hidden in the rain curtain and the thick misty steam, has only just begun to reveal its outline. It is a huge tree stump that stands on the plain, and its outline can be vaguely seen. At the same time, some earth-based spellcasters are standing on the tree rock ring outside the rock wall of Saint Land's supernatural city-state, constantly casting earth-based spells, allowing a large amount of soil and stones to surge upward and pile up on Saint Land's tree rock trunk, thereby expanding Saint Land's body. Yes, Saint Land is a lava furnace core tree stump. It is also a magical creature in the supernatural world. At the same time, it is alive. A long, long time ago, when Saint Land was discovered, people thought it was an active volcano. Later, it was recognized that this volcano is actually a very rare supernatural creature, a lava furnace core tree stump. It is said that when the grandfather of the current Grand Duke of the Principality of Cillian first fought against those damn underground creatures near Saint Land and expanded the territory, he helped the residents here to build the Saint Land city-state. With the development of the times, people soon discovered that Saint Land had extraordinary characteristics. It could withstand the cold of winter and the disasters in the wilderness. Those powerful extraordinary creatures did not dare to approach Saint Land at will. It could form a strong ecological cycle, and it was naturally a gathering place for extraordinary characteristics. In the extraordinary sequence era, Saint Land was already famous for being the core of the ecological cycle in the surrounding area. Later, it entered the steam era. Saint Land was more because of its natural flames with extraordinary properties, which could easily help the steam tower ignite the source energy fire and release greater power. It could also allow the lava furnace to participate in the operation system of the source energy steam tower. This made Saint Land become the core of the Principality of Cillian, the northern border. With the great development of the steam era, Saint Land also entered a stage of rapid expansion. Today, Saint Land is already an extraordinary city-state that accommodates tens of millions of residents. Steam towers have been built on Saint Land. The steam lighthouse stronghold on the wasteland builds the energy within hundreds of kilometers around it into energy veins, which are continuously sent to Saint Land. And because of the extraordinary characteristics of Saint Land itself, and the circulation of massive energy, the lava furnace core tree stump with the extraordinary characteristics of the Earth's origin has also grown greatly. Saint Land has established an extremely powerful extraordinary ecology of steam towers and lava furnaces. Even the layer domain ecology has become quite large. To this day, Saint Land is still expanding. Earth-based spellcasters are popular extraordinary sequences in Saint Land. I dare not say that I am rich, but at least I can have a place to live in Saint Land and build my own warm home. The bloody morning light of the gray day was soon submerged by thick clouds. It is the rainy season now. The thick clouds still dominated the sky. But the red light could already ignite the clouds, making the whole world no longer dark. With the opening of the magic bridge, the extraordinary people who had spent a long night in the wilderness and had been waiting for a long time followed the magic bridge and headed towards Saint Land. In the crowd, Tucker stretched out his palm. A ray of crimson could be vaguely seen reflected on his palm. Through the gap in his palm, the thick clouds were almost completely intertwined with the sticky, dense, and heavy source energy steam of Saint Land. Even if Tucker had precise vision, he could not tell where the clouds were and where the steam source energy was. But what Tucker could be sure of was that the steam gray fog that permeated the entire Saint Land must be source energy steam. When chatting with Baggins before, Tucker remembered that Baggins mentioned that Saint Land passed the Source Energy Steam Pollution Control Act. In Saint Land, many magic-based extraordinary people would build their own small steam towers, steam bases, and the like. This also makes the source energy steam of Saint Land too dense and completely unable to disperse. In addition, some black-hearted supernatural factories directly carry the abandoned supernatural characteristics in the source energy steam and discharge them. Every spring, children will suffer from slight distortions, pollution, lesions, alienation, etc. caused by steam pollution, which will be very serious. With Tucker's precise vision, he saw those chaotic supernatural characteristics. The steam ecology of Saint Land really needs to be governed. In the steam ecological ring of Lamore, pure and natural steam elves were born. And in the steam ecology of Saint Land, if this continues, I am afraid that steam demons will be born. At the end of the magic long bridge, there are strict supernatural guards. Supernaturals with the identity of Saint Land only need to submit their identity certificates to enter the layer area they belong to. Yes, because of the powerful framework ability of the lava furnace core tree stump. The living environment and ecology of Saint Land are presented in a three-dimensional layer area way. The top layer is the upper area, which is also the high tower area, where there are fewer residents. They are all inhabited by some wealthy, powerful and influential superhumans. Inside the lava stump is the middle layer, also called the Tree Heart area and Tree Heart City. The Tree Heart area is 1,000 meters high and is supported by stacked layers of rock. There is an extremely complex three-dimensional ecological environment here. The transportation methods are extremely complex, including portals, stairs, steam trains, one-way wind tunnels, etc. Only the superhumans who live here all year round can master them skillfully. In Saint Land, the most prosperous area is not the upper city, but the Tree Heart area. 80% of the residents live in the Tree Heart area. At the bottom is the Tree Root area, which can also be called the underground area and underground city. In the Magic Long Bridge, most of the superhumans who passed the inspection took the steam train to the depths of the Tree Heart area. Only the superhumans who originally had the official identity of Saint Land can go directly to the depths of the Tree Heart area through the magic gate in the magic square behind the gate. Of course, if you don't have the official identity of Saint Land, you can take the teleportation array, but you have to pay. Those with identity credentials can enter Saint Land directly. Those without identity credentials will have to undergo identity verification. At this time, Tucker and some extraordinary people who escaped from the Black River Valley were verifying their identities. Where are you from? A short-haired female extraordinary person wearing black civilian clothes was registering visitors at the desk. The large number of magic veins in the magic book in her hand were connected to the steam lighthouse not far away, completing the connection and interaction of the magic network. The magic network. This creation that created the arcane sequence in the sequence era and began to emerge in the steam era emerged in Tucker's mind. The use of the magic network seems to have taken shape in Saint Land. Lamore. Tucker said this after thinking about it. Originally, Tucker wanted to talk about the Black River Valley. But the other party will definitely ask a lot of things about the Black River Valley. And the people in the Black River Valley are the focus of attention. When asking, Tucker will be exposed. The few extraordinary people of the sheriff sequence who were chatting next to him would definitely catch him at the first opportunity, and then use methods such as truth and interrogation to strip his underwear. Tucker and Baggins separated and entered Saint Land alone to avoid trouble, so he naturally didn't go back to cause trouble. Lamore. The recorder extraordinary person who operated the magic book raised his thin eyebrows slightly. Did you lose your identity certificate? No. This is my first time in Saint Land. First time? But many people in Lamore have completed the registration half a year ago. At this time, the extraordinary people of the extraordinary sequence, sheriff, of the city-state type looked over vigilantly. I make money by herding sheep in the Black River Valley. Tucker said truthfully. Oh. Tucker's honesty startled the female recorder, who could hear the poverty behind Tucker's words. Shepherd sequence. Wizard. Name: Andre. Tucker said. Tanneru's name and identity are no longer usable. The Battle of the Black River Valley. Those demon hunters who would forget even their own names after drinking 2 barrels of wine would definitely leak the news. With a retrospective means of sheep transformation, Tucker can change his identity at any time. There is no need to grab the wool of Tanneru and pull it hard. In fact, Tucker's current appearance is a fusion of his own appearance and Andre's appearance. Level 23. Well, next, the sheriff will question you with truth. If it is confirmed to be true, you will obtain the official identity of Saint Rand. The female recorder said so. At this time, a dissatisfied voice came from behind Tucker. Hey, why can this kid directly obtain the official identity of Saint Rand, while our extraordinary people in Black River Valley can only have a temporary identity, and we need to register and report every month? You only see that the extraordinary people of Lamore enjoy the preferential treatment of Saint Rand. Then do you know what kind of contribution Lamore has made? A cold, reprimanding, and crisp voice sounded. A mid-level Saint Lander female, law enforcement officer, wearing law enforcement leather boots, carrying a steam sniper rifle, and wearing a black law enforcement uniform appeared in front of everyone. Chapter 140 Development Goal, 5 Ring Tower. Several founders of Lamore defended Lamore to the death and severely damaged several bishops of the Dark Sun Church. Delayed the attack of the Ashtide. Obtained a large number of Demon King sequence characteristics for Saint Rand. Even more, they destroyed the place where the Demon King was sealed, leaving no resources for the Dark Sun Church. And Tucker, the blasphemer of Lamore, severely damaged the Dark Sun Saint Wendell Francis in a blasphemous way. The growth of the evil god's son was hindered. Lamore's achievements are completely engraved on Saint Rand's Pillar of Eternity. And, what did those big figures of your Black River Valley's extraordinary people do? Do you know? Law Enforcer, Loria Cage's eyes, like a sharp blade of judgment, gradually examined those extraordinary people in the Black River Valley. They secretly sold the Black River Valley and fled to the supernatural ocean. They may even have joined the hostile forces of our Principality of Celians. This is an unforgivable treason that is nailed to the pillar of shame. According to the laws of our law enforcement department, all of you supernaturals in the Black River Valley need to be sentenced to heavy penalties. Allowing you to enter Saint Land is already the greatest forgiveness of the High Tower Council. Now, do you still think there is a problem with the preferential treatment of Saint Land supernaturals? Many supernaturals in the Black River Valley lowered their heads and looked gloomy. No one dared to refute. After all, they themselves fled from the Black River Valley. They even almost died at the hands of the Dark Sun Church, which traded with the high-level officials of the Black River Valley. Not long after, the recorder on the side had already recorded all of Tucker's information. Law Enforcer, Loria Cage inspected Tucker and then took the magic book from the female recorder. He explained to Tucker in a very formal and official tone. Andre Lamore, the survivor of Lamore, I will use the truth of the Law Enforcer to interrogate you and verify your information. At this time, Tucker's eyes twitched slightly. Wouldn't it be enough to interrogate ordinary sheriffs of level 20 or 30 with the truth? The guy behind him insisted on talking too much. The one in front of him now is a level 44, Law Enforcer. Not only is the sequence strength, but the level is far higher than the sheriff. Even she herself has a little bit of the extraordinary characteristics of the Saint Land ecology, such as law and judgment. Compared with the ecological characteristics of Lamore, shelter, and the hunting characteristics of the dungeon world. Saint Land, where the extraordinary ecological environment is more complex, has more and more powerful characteristics of the extraordinary ecology. Just the law and judgment characteristics that Tucker has seen so far are quite strong. Is your name Andre Lamore? The power of the truth intimidated Tucker's soul and forced Tucker to tell the truth. Tucker felt this wonderful power, and he silently corrected what he was going to explain. Yes, my name is Andre Lamore. Tucker nodded. Precision, correction. It can be used not only in the context of insight into the world. In the confrontation of these extraordinary powers, Tucker's extraordinary talent will work better. Although Tucker can also use precision to avoid the opponent's interrogation, the steam, origin spiritual state can make the opponent's interrogation power ineffective. But correction will give the opponent a satisfactory result. Sure enough, the Law Enforcer, Loria Cage did not feel anything unusual. She continued to ask, and the result was naturally very satisfactory to her. There is no doubt that this is an honest young man from Lawmore. With the operation of the steam alchemy instrument on the side, an identity card certificate was produced. It is made of metal, contains a small amount of extraordinary characteristics, and has a subtle vein connecting to the nearby extraordinary lighthouse. If you carry it with you, this thing itself will play a monitoring role. Tucker examined all this calmly. You are most welcome, the survivor of Lawmore. I hope you can understand. After all, the movement in the Black River Valley was not small during the last gray night. St. Rand must be more cautious. This is the performance of being responsible to everyone. After the interrogation, law enforcer, Loria Cage showed a little smile on her face. Indeed, the movement over there is indeed very big. Tucker nodded. Do you need some help? My men can help you get familiar with St. Rand very effectively. No need. Tucker waved his hand. I don't have much money to pay for your services. This is free. Our sheriffs here have always been very welcoming to the extraordinary people of Lawmore. If you don't need it, we won't force it. After a few simple chats, Tucker walked towards the steam train platform not far away. Although Tucker, who has the official identity of St. Rand, can directly take the magic gate. But Tucker, who has just arrived, needs more time to get familiar with and know St. Rand. Instead of diving in blindly, while waiting for the next steam train, Tucker penetrated into the identity certificate through normal source energy and felt the information inside. A lot of basic information about Lawmore and St. Rand came in. Just as Baggins said, Lawmore's extraordinary people are indeed treated very well in St. Rand. St. Rand officials have opened a Tree Heart community specifically for students and residents from Lawmore. Here, the gathering place of Lawmore's extraordinary people is also specially marked. I can also get some food there, and they may even assign me a job. If there is no place to live, there will be a special shelter there that can let me eat and sleep well. Very good. Tucker nodded slightly, but after thinking carefully about Lawmore's efforts, Tucker couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. In the days of the last confrontation, Tucker saw it clearly. Even if it was polluted, there were still a large number of Lawmore's extraordinary people holding on. This is also what Lawmore's extraordinary people should enjoy. Do you want to go? As soon as this thought came to mind, Tucker suppressed it. Tucker knew. Now, it was obviously not the time for him to contact the extraordinary people of Lawmore and Zalur. There would definitely be many members of the Dark Sun Church secretly infiltrating and investigating there. At least, he had to wait until he was promoted to the 3rd level, absorbed and digested the 2nd steam core, and his strength was within St. Rand, and he could protect himself. Only then could he contact Zalur. Otherwise, if he went there now, it would only bring disaster to the people there. Following the crowd, Tucker boarded the steam bus heading deep into the Tree Heart area. The source energy steam engine of the steam bus can absorb source energy while generating power to keep the steam bus moving forward. The rich source energy environment supports the operation of the steam train here. It is difficult for other places to maintain such a large source energy scale of an entire city-state. But the St. Rand city-state itself is in the lava furnace core tree stump. For the lava furnace core tree stump, maintaining the source energy concentration in his body is his instinct, and no one needs to maintain it. This also created the extraordinary and extraordinary ecological environment of St. Rand. Tucker sat in a seat by the window. He quietly looked at St. Rand. The hearth fire path of the lava hearth tree stump was interwoven in the hearth area. It provided sufficient lighting for the inner space world. Tucker could even see that a large number of flame elves had built nests in the hearth fire path. No matter what the outside world was like, St. Rand's Tree Heart City would always be a city that never sleeps. The magic and incredible characteristics of the extraordinary world were fully displayed in the Tree Heart City of St. Rand. Tucker also carefully felt the magnificence of the extraordinary world. Half an hour later, Tucker arrived at his target station. This is the Soulfire Rock District, a commercial area near the community where the extraordinary people of Lawmore gathered. At the same time, this is also one of the areas recommended to Tucker when Tucker and Baggins discussed. If you say where in St. Rand is the most suitable place for Tucker's robust development system to develop, then there is no doubt that it is the steam tower at the top of St. Rand, which is 500 meters high and has 5 steam rings. Tucker chose this place as his first stationing point and trial point. The reason is that following the core fire road here, you can directly reach the furnace fire of the super steam furnace tower at the core of St. Rand. In other words, Tucker only needs to follow the veins of the flames here. He can touch the largest steam extraordinary tower in St. Land, thereby anchoring that big guy and steadily starting his own development path here. Even, if possible, Tucker even wants to choose to rent or buy a house near the core fire road. In this way, Tucker can follow these flame veins and touch those towers when he is free, and steal a wave of development when he is free. Tucker learned from Baggins that the steam furnaces of many towers will absorb the flames of the core tree stumps. As long as Tucker does not specifically fleece the tower, the extraordinary person who controls the tower will find it difficult to find abnormalities. Chapter 141 Quick Sweep for 180 Days. The wide streets with steam buses are extremely prosperous. Pedestrians are constantly flowing. And the extraordinary people are not too wary of each other. Compared with the ash borderlands such as Lamore and Black River Valley, the Tree Heart City of St. Land has an ecological environment with extraordinary characteristics such as law and judgment. Everything seems to be in order. Even the aroma of various foods coming from many shops makes Tucker's index finger jump on the street. Whether in Lamore or Black River Valley, there are not many delicious things. But it is completely different in St. Land. The area nearby is quite prosperous, which means that the black market here is more prosperous. The good things that Tucker plans to sell are not cheap. It is too easy to be targeted if you sell them outside, so it is better to operate in the black market. After a round of inspection, Tucker quietly sank into a darker and deserted alley. As soon as Tucker entered, meow, meow, hiss. From the depths of darkness, a sharp and rapid cat cry was heard. But this sound was rougher than that of an ordinary domestic cat. Tucker looked closely. Good fellow, this cat is almost a spirit. Behind the garbage can and the pile of debris, a stray cat with a level of 18, black and white hair, and a body size almost catching up with a large dog, made a low threatening sound at Tucker. Behind it, 7 or 8 wild cats appeared one after another, all of which were about level 10. Each stray cat was quite large. Tucker's rash intrusion seemed to have entered the territory of the wild cats. The ecological environment with abundant source energy, coupled with the dense and complex terrain, made these stray cats grow particularly strong. With such a large body, it's a pity not to go to Lamore to catch mice. The next moment, in the shadows behind Tucker, a fierce, cruel, and tyrannical aura vaguely emerged. Meow! In an instant, the stray cats all stood up, and they ran away in panic, disappearing into the darkness around the corner in a blink of an eye. A moment later, the shadow flame wolf leader emerged from the shadow corner. Those wild cats, if they ran slower, would be bitten by it on the spot. The wolf leader restrained his breath and stretched his body. In the shadow state supported by Tucker's shadow ring staff. With its size, it was really too uncomfortable to squeeze in, not to mention that there were 3 elite shadow flame wolves. Then, it raised its nose and sniffed the air hard. Suddenly, the shadow flame wolf leader was a little excited. However, it seemed a little uncertain. After circling Tucker a few times, it looked at Tucker in confusion. You didn't sniff wrong. The extraordinary ecological world here does have a large-scale shadow layer domain. Not only is the framework complex, but there seem to be many small shadow creatures in it. You should adapt to the shadow ecology there first. Later, I will gradually summon other shadow demon wolves to expand your ecological group for you. We will stay in this extraordinary ecology of St. Land for a long time. Tucker's words made the shadow flame demon wolf whimper with joy. It walked around Tucker twice and even rubbed against Tucker to express its loyalty. After Tucker gave some instructions, he released 3 elite demon wolves, and then the shadow demon wolf leader led the 3 elite demon wolves and drilled into the nearest dark corner. It is easier to pass through the shadow layer domain from the darkness. Wait until the demon wolf leader left. Tucker cast the micro-hurricane technique and soared upward along the extremely high rock wall treehouse in front of him. The top of this rock wall treehouse is very close to the core fire road. After a careful look and confirming that there were no extraordinary people living on the top floor, Tucker sat down on the balcony of the corridor with peace of mind. The core fire road is only 5 or 6 meters away from Tucker. Tucker lightly tapped his fingers. An invisible and subtle flame vein was grasped by Tucker. Precision. The origin of the spirit state. With a blessing of 2 SSS-level extraordinary talents, that invisible flame vein began to extend upward along the core fire road. The core fire road itself is a continuous hole. The flame veins presented in it are even more dense. This is simply a through train for Tucker. Following the fire road in the rock wall, Tucker went deeper. During this period, Tucker also saw many flame elves. These flame elves will maintain and repair the fire road. After all, only by gathering the flames together can a stronger flame be formed. The more intense the flame ecological environment, the more these flame elves like it. Tucker's veins easily passed through the bodies of these little flame elves. And they didn't notice anything. Veins and trajectories. They are part of the world. Just because Tucker is talented, they are not part of the natural state. Soon, Tucker found a relatively large fire source hub. There are a lot of flame elves here, and there are even many elite flame elves. In the future, I can catch a few elite flame elves to raise them. Elite level flame elves can already break free from the fireplace flame area to a certain extent, and can also throw fireballs outside. They are definitely experts in burning houses. After a little identification of the direction, Tucker found the location of St. Land, the famous 5-ring tower, and the veins of flame began to penetrate. Lamore's steam tower is a 3-ring tower, and there is only one. Period. And the core steam tower of St. Land is the 5-ring steam tower. In addition to the core 5-ring steam tower, there are also 3 4-ring steam towers, more than a dozen 3-ring steam towers, and hundreds of 2-ring steam towers. As for those private huts, energy bases, energy workshops, etc. that are between the steam cover and 1-ring steam states, they are not included in the statistics. The entire St. Lander is a huge super ecosystem of steam energy towers. Soon, Tucker's veins entered the extremely strong flame furnace. Here, the energy with certain extraordinary characteristics was pressurized. The abundant energy combined with the flame that itself has extraordinary characteristics can further stimulate the energy operation of the energy steam engine. This should be the furnace of the 5-ring steam tower. It can be regarded as the deepest position I can reach in the 5-ring extraordinary steam tower now. Maintaining the flame veins, Tucker gathered his mind and opened the system. Search for the surrounding development area. The system's search results quickly emerged. Soon there were 8 anchorable development areas. And the 5-ring steam tower was among them. 5-ring steam tower, energy experience. 32.6 experience hour. Special resources, talent fragments. 3.4 fragments day. Heart of flame fragments. 2.6 fragments day. Looking at the development location of the 5-ring steam tower, a smile gradually appeared on Tucker's face. It is indeed a steam tower, a tower that exists specifically for absorbing source energy. The experience of this source energy is really rich. Before, Tucker's richest source energy experience was the Demon King's tomb, which has a source energy cycle. But the experience there was only 5.8 experience. The source energy of the 5-ring steam tower is as high as 32.6, which is 5 or 6 times higher. This is the case when there are a large number of steam towers around, which absorb most of the source energy. If it is just a single 5-ring tower, Tucker estimated that it would definitely be able to break 100. The talent fragments are relatively small, 3.4 fragments per day. However, Tucker does not need talent fragments now, and the small number can be accumulated slowly. After all, the source energy storage of the 5-ring steam tower is the main task, and the absorption cycle of extraordinary characteristics is incidental. To Tucker's surprise, a new special resource appeared, the fragments of the Heart of Fire. The Heart of Fire. This is an elemental ability. It's not rare in the natural elemental ecology. Tucker glanced at the flame elves dancing in the flames. Those little guys had certain characteristics and abilities of the Heart of Fire. But it is still very rare for humans to possess the Heart of Fire. In the ancient times, when even the transcendental sequence had not yet been born, once one possessed the heart of an element of a certain element, he would be a super genius of that element, and would even be called the darling of the element. It is still the same now. Once discovered, he would still be loved by the strong men of the transcendental tower, and would definitely be recruited to the tower and then trained. For me, possessing the Heart of Fire naturally gives me the ability to control fire. My ability in fire witchcraft will be greatly enhanced. And as an elemental ability, this can be condensed into my own flame rune, through training, practice, perception, and mastery. The most important thing is, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly, and his smile became more intense. My steam ecology has a flame furnace, and I really need this Heart of Fire. In one word, perfect. As Tucker anchored the 5-rings tower, a series of prompt sounds rang out. Ling. Anchoring the development location, St. Lander 5-ring steam tower. Do you want to conduct a 180-day quick sweep? After the quick sweep, the anchoring area cannot be changed within 180 days. Yes. Quick sweep begins. Day 1. Get 782 source energy experience, get 3.4 talent fragments, get 2.6 flame heart fragments. Day 2. Get 782 source energy experience, get 3.4 talent fragments, get 2.6 flame heart fragments. Day 3. The contents of the quick sweep log were densely unfolded in front of Tucker's eyes. It turned into a torrent of pleasant information. Chapter 142. Talent fragments. 616. Heart of flame fragments. 468. With the 180-day sweep completed, Tucker also harvested a new round of resources. In particular, the source energy experience has soared to an unprecedented height. It has broken through the 100,000 source energy experience mark. When Tucker had more source energy experience before, it was just over 10,000. With so much source energy experience, Tucker can conduct in-depth scientific research again. Tucker, sitting cross-legged in the corridor, carefully browsed these resources. Finally, Tucker set his sights on the newly acquired resource Heart of Flame fragments. 100 Heart of Flame fragments can make me have a very standard Heart of Flame. On this basis, as the number of fragments is stacked, the fit, responsiveness, and control of the flame element will also increase accordingly. It feels a bit similar to extraordinary magical powers. It is likely that the Heart of Flame will be included in the extraordinary magical powers. In the system's resource reserve column, after synthesizing the Heart of Flame and learning and mastering it, as expected, the Heart of Flame appeared in the column of extraordinary magical powers. Extraordinary magical powers, phase walking, 665 fragments, level 29. Heart of Flame, 100 fragments, level 1. Looking at the Heart of Flame, which was classified as an extraordinary magical power, Tucker took a deep breath, raised his head slightly and looked at the furnace core fire path not far away. Tucker raised his hand. The flames 5 or 6 meters away immediately responded. It's a wonderful feeling, as if the flames themselves are part of me. It felt the same when I mastered phase walking before. This extraordinary magical power is getting more and more interesting. Tucker slightly increased his strength. A part of the flames in the furnace core fire path were quickly drawn away. Then these flames just calmly attached to Tucker's palm. Tucker can also provide a little source energy to maintain these flames. The flames and Tucker's palms are completely integrated. Tucker can't feel any pain at all, nor can he feel the flames burning his palms. Immunity to fire. Tucker's mind naturally emerged with the elemental characteristics of the Heart of Fire. As someone who possesses the Heart of Fire, I have a strong ability to be immune to fire damage. And as the number of fragments of the Heart of Fire increases, the extraordinary characteristics of the flame are enhanced, and the power of the flame runes in the flame is condensed. My immunity to fire becomes more terrifying. When I am strong enough, I can be completely immune to the spitting of dragon breath flames. At that time, there will be no problem in having a passionate fight with a dragon. Tucker didn't know how much the others possessed the Heart of Fire. But Tucker knew that as long as he developed steadily in Saint Land, as the fragments of the Heart of Fire piled up, he would not be afraid of any flame. Feeling the flame burning steadily on his palm, Tucker moved his fingers, and the flame went out directly. Tucker stood up and looked at the Heart of Fire road not far away again, and a smile gradually appeared on the corner of his mouth. He was just a newcomer and had just developed a wave. He had already received a wave of gifts from Saint Land. And as time goes by, the harvest will only increase. After adding the subsequent fragments to the Heart of Flame one after another, and raising the level of the magical power, Heart of Flame, to level 29, Tucker's perception of the flames in the furnace heart fire channel is also obviously increasing rapidly. Even the relatively hot high-temperature environment around him, Tucker feels unusually comfortable and warm. The sequence shadow of the flames of the nightmare oil bomb is obviously much more condensed. The flames of the furnace tree heart are also stronger. The Heart of Flame will naturally enhance the intensity of the flames in the extraordinary ecology. It can be regarded as a disguised strengthening of my extraordinary ecology. Even. Tucker raised a single finger. Wow! The size of an egg, with red flames inside and black flames outside, the nightmare oil bomb condensed in Tucker's body in an instant. I don't even need to chant the spell of the nightmare fire oil bomb. I can easily condense the nightmare fire oil bomb with just a thought. Although it is only a smaller condensed fire oil bomb. But it only takes a moment to grow larger. In less than a breath, the egg-sized fire oil bomb expanded directly to the size of a basketball. With this powerful heart of fire, I can definitely learn 1 or 2 powerful 2-star fire witchcraft. The witchcraft ecology of a wizard also needs to be adjusted according to the wizard's own abilities. With a heart of fire, Tucker must strengthen his fire witchcraft. Feeling the changes brought about by his new magical power, Tucker is looking forward to his life in St. Lander. Just when Tucker was planning to further explore his new abilities and try to use the flame veins to steal development in the source energy pool above, a voice sounded in the stairs not far behind him. Tucker dispersed a nightmare fire oil bomb, and a shadow passed through and entered the deep shadow of the corner of the corridor. This is close to the commercial street. From here, you can see a large area of life and business scenes. And behind this stone wall is the extraordinary business district. Whether you are practicing here, living here for a long time, or doing business, it is very suitable. And the monthly rent here is very cheap, only 5 magic golds per month. Now in St. Lander, it is rare to find such a cheap house. A slightly crisp, even unskilled explanation gradually approached. It sounded like a female salesperson taking people to see a house. Why is it so hot here? The extraordinary person who followed asked in confusion. Sir, this place is closer to the furnace core fire path, so it is a bit hotter. Soon, Tucker saw the female salesperson in a black close-fitting suit, leading a man carrying an extraordinary spear to the corridor on the top floor. When he saw the flames that were about to burn to the roof, the man with a level of 18 changed his face. Damn, this flame is too close to the house. I don't want to be burned alive in my sleep. After saying that, he ran away on the spot regardless of the ugly face of the saleswoman. Compared with the relatively cheap rent, life is obviously more important. The saleswoman felt the scorching fire wave for a moment and did not dare to stay any longer, and left quickly. Tucker raised his eyebrows at the back of the saleswoman. The house near the flame is for rent, which is a perfect location for me. While there are few people, you can also better comprehend the flame runes here. It would be even better if you can develop secretly here. After the saleswoman left, Tucker came out of the shadows. He sat cross-legged near the flame again and began to try to use the flame veins to explore the area inside more deeply to see if he could develop secretly. About an hour later, Tucker slowly converged the veins. The distance is a bit too far. Although I can develop secretly, but the source energy experience given is too little. Tucker shook his head slightly. Instead of spending this time stealing development, it is better to use this time to comprehend the mysteries of runes. With this in mind, Tucker looked around for a moment. Well, let's choose the house here for rent for the time being. The right side and the back of the house are all attached to the rock wall. I can use the barrier ritual to open up space deep in the rock wall to build my real residence. Even the magical hut can be nurtured and developed inside. Once I settle down here, I can go to Baggins to see how he handles the materials there. Looking at the flames in front of him, Tucker silently thought about his development plan in St. Land. In the next period of time, Tucker entered into busy daily life for life, renting a house, getting familiar with the surrounding environment, using the barrier ritual, opening up the space inside the wall, etc. Tucker is like an ordinary St. Land resident, gradually exploring and integrating into the environment of St. Land. In this way, half a month has passed unknowingly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 143. Dwarf Street in the Fire Rock Area. Looking around, the streets are crowded with dwarf superhumans. Of course, there are also many humans. At the beginning of St. Land, the dwarves, who were born to be good at ironwork, settled here. They forged weapons and repaired equipment for the local superhumans. Even during the autumn beast tide, they would put on armor, pick up axes and hammers, ride goats, and resist the attacks of the beast tide. It can be said that the dwarves have long been a part of St. Land. Even one of the 3-4 ring towers in St. Land is owned by the very famous dwarf craftsman. St. Land's superhuman weapons are not only very popular within St. Land, they can also be exported in large quantities every year to earn foreign exchange for St. Land. The weapons forged by the dwarves of Saint Land are extremely famous in the East Continent, not to mention the West Continent. In many shops, there is the roar of source energy steam, and the clanging sound of knocking turns into a dense symphony. It is said that the sounds of skilled craftsmen hitting materials with extraordinary forging hammers are very rhythmic. Forging, quenching, shaping, strengthening, fusion, and many other extraordinary characteristics, in the hands of different dwarf forgers, penetrate into extraordinary equipment along the extraordinary forging hammers. These extraordinary forging methods that contain extraordinary skills and a lot of experience are summarized by the entire dwarf tribe after a lot of years of exploration. Even the source energy steam of this dwarf street is filled with the ecological characteristics of craftsman, furnace. The craftsman and furnace ecology here is also part of the Saint Land ecology. Tucker stopped for a while in front of the shop number 112 on Dwarf Street and entered it. Before the waitress who came to greet him spoke, Tucker took the lead. "I want to see Mr. Alchemist Baggins. Just say that an old friend named Andre is here to visit." The human waitress obviously received similar instructions. She looked Tucker up and down and said politely, "Then please wait a moment." After saying that, the waitress hurriedly walked to the back of the store. Tucker waited quietly. Tucker and Andre entered separately to avoid trouble and to avoid some potential detection. On the other hand, Tucker also wanted to conceal his whereabouts. Not long after, hurried and heavy footsteps sounded. "Haha, my old friend, Ni. And Andre, yes, Andre, you are finally here." Before seeing the figure, Baggins' usual loud voice was heard. Entering the store hall, Baggins, regardless of other people's eyes, came up and gave Tucker a big hug. "If you don't come again, I will be unable to come for you." This scene made many human extraordinary people in the store look sideways. Dwarves have bad tempers. It is not easy to become old friends with dwarves. In the vocabulary of dwarves, old friends are friends with a very high degree of trust. Looking around, Baggins dragged Tucker to the back. "This is not the place to talk. Let's talk in the back." Although he lowered his voice as much as possible, his voice could be heard even if he stood outside the door. The living room in the backyard. It was protected by a magic barrier, which was quite concealed. It could prevent the conversation between the two from being eavesdropped. Basically, some supernaturals with some means were prepared with similar means. Even so, Tucker still maintained his habit. He used the original spiritual state to feel it carefully, and after confirming that it was safe, he looked at Baggins and asked slowly, "How are the things handled?" There were more than 180 supernatural storage bracelets. Not only did they hinder Tucker's battle a little, but they were also too conspicuous. Letting Baggins handle those scattered things would also save Tucker a lot of trouble. The professional appraiser in my store conducted a detailed assessment. The total value is. When Baggins said this, he looked at Tucker and said carefully, 72,650 magic gold. This value made Tucker raise his eyebrows slightly. More than 70,000 magic gold. This expectation was similar to Tucker's expectation. Although I already knew that there would be such a value. According to our original agreement, I will get 15% as a commission for handling it. Plus you said later that you would use part of the money to buy my 2 medium-sized storage bracelets. I can get 12,000 magic gold. The remaining 60,000 magic gold is yours. Being able to get 60,000 magic gold safely. This is already a very profitable deal. If Tucker handles it himself, those idle resources and materials cannot be sold at such a high price. Okay. Tucker nodded. Both parties benefit, which is the cornerstone of long-term cooperation. After thinking for a while, Tucker asked again. What about the news of the steam core and the magic seed? Steam core. Magic seed. These 2 points were the news that Tucker asked Baggins to help him find out before. The steam core is a bit troublesome. Baggins sorted out the information he had collected and told this story. Although this is Saint Land, there are a certain number of steam cores, but you also know that steam cores are expensive, and most of the time, they are still distributed by the strong people above. You can only get it if you have a strong talent. If you don't have access to the channels of Saint Land's high-level strong people, basically, it's difficult to get it. It's been quite a while since I came into contact with a steam wizard in front of me. Baggins vaguely guessed some of his identity. Since the other party has changed his name and appearance. Then, Baggins is also willing to pretend to be confused. Although he has a bad temper, His mind is not confused. Is this the only channel? Tucker frowned and asked. There are other channels. The auction of the Extraordinary Chamber of Commerce occasionally sells one. But the competition is extremely fierce. In the early years, when it was cheap, it was possible to auction it for 20,000 or 30,000 magic gold. But now, many forces know the power of steam cores. Even if you have 50,000 or 60,000 magic gold in hand, you dare not say that you can get it safely. Is the price so high? Tucker couldn't help rubbing his eyebrows. Although Tucker had heard that steam cores were expensive before. But when I really got in touch with it, I realized that this thing is indeed ridiculously expensive. Compared with the second channel, which is not very stable and needs to rely on money ability, the first way seems quite tempting. The super genius of Lamor, the gravedigger of the Demon King's tomb, the blasphemer of the Great Dark Sun, the terminator of the Black River Valley puppet master, and the one who inherits the steam wave of the times, the steam wizard Tucker. If this application for the steam core is submitted to the St. Lander executives, the St. Lander executives will have to give Tucker a piece overnight. At least, the attitude of winning over geniuses must be there. But Tucker also knows. This is just a way to die, and it is a fast lane with the accelerator pressed to death. Before you are promoted to level 40, just get the second steam core. At this stage, it's good to get it, but there's no need to worry if you can't get it. On the contrary, the magical seeds should be cultivated as soon as possible. This thing, use it early and enjoy it early. Tucker looked at Baggins and asked. Then, what about the magic seeds? The magic seeds are simple. Pay 1,000 magic gold, and you can go to the magic sequence tree in the Furnestein Tower and choose the magic seeds that you are satisfied with. The magic seeds themselves are not cheap, but they are not too expensive. The subsequent cultivation is where resources really need to be invested. I know this. Tucker nodded. The magic seeds, through the feeding of resources, cultivation, communication, enlightenment, etc., can be allowed to gradually grow into a magic hut. Through the characteristics of different materials, it can be made to have all kinds of incredible magical abilities. Tucker learned a whole set of knowledge systems about the magic hut a long time ago. Combined with his own means and abilities, as well as the resources in his hands, Tucker dare not say that he can 100% keep the magic hut alive. But once it is kept alive, Tucker can definitely make the extraordinary characteristics and magical abilities of the magic hut extremely powerful. Baggins, I came here this time for a few other important things. After hesitating for a moment, Tucker slowly spoke. Are you going to create powerful rune armor and rune ring staff? When it comes to forging equipment, Baggins has a keen sense of smell that is unmatched by ordinary people. Chapter 144, Bright Flame Ring Staff and Dragon Scale Armor. Yes. Tucker nodded decisively. I want to forge a ring-shaped shadow rune ring staff, a light blazing ring staff, and a flame dragon scale armor. Although he had expected that Tucker might have the materials for these things, when Tucker really put forward his request, Baggins was still shocked. The light blazing ring staff and the rune dragon scale armor are all powerful equipment of the ring-shaped runes. Baggins looked at the steam wizard Tucker, who had changed his appearance in front of him. I know you are very powerful, but this level of rune equipment is not as simple as the previous shadow rune ring staff. The runes contained in the shadow ring staff are just the power of a single shadow rune. And a complete shadow rune ring staff in a ring state requires 3 shadow runes to close into a ring. The light blazing ring staff is 2 light runes plus 1 fire rune. In the form of 2 plus 1, a rune closed loop is formed. The flame dragon scale armor requires a lot of dragon scales, and also requires a fire rune, plus 2 earth runes. Even if you can get these materials, the difficulty of closing the rune loop is amazing. I can only complete the forging, not the closed loop. After listening to Baggins's explanation, Tucker said lightly, Don't worry about the problem of the rune closed loop, I can solve this. Is that really the case? Tucker's words made Baggins's eyes narrow into a slit. Before, when Tucker showed the steam wizard's means and condensed the power of runes, the rune power he showed was not strong. Now it seems that the steam wizard in front of him obviously concealed his understanding of the rune mystery. After thinking for a while, Baggins looked at Tucker and said with a smile, Brother Tanalu, you only need to prepare the corresponding runes, dragon scales, and third-level forging materials. As for the labor fee, it's waived. Baggins' words made Tucker raise his eyebrows. He has been with Baggins for a long time. This shrewd guy will never waive Tucker's labor fees so easily. Tell me, what benefits do you want? Tucker also spoke frankly. Haha. Brother Tanilu, you are still comfortable to listen to. Don't you have that kind of powerful means of refining promotion materials? Tucker's eyes condensed slightly, and he looked at Baggins quietly. Baggins had tried to forge elite materials by himself before, and even asked Tucker. But Tucker didn't admit it. But after such a long time, Baggins, who had been thinking over and over again, finally came to his senses. After thinking for a while, Tucker didn't hide anything anymore. Yes, Brother Tanilu, you are too rude. Do you know how many third-level elite materials I have broken? Baggins complained. I was so angry that I almost smashed the damn crucible. After changing the subject, Baggins's eyes shone brightly. I have a channel to purchase those cheap elite materials. And Brother Tanilu, you have that incredible refining ability. I promise to sell you the promotion materials you refine at a high price, and no one will know my supply channel. Unless they kill me and torture me in my soul. Baggins waved his fist and said seriously. Tucker still believed in Baggins' honesty and reliability. As Tucker's alchemy skills became more proficient, he could refine those elite materials, even leader-level materials. It would not take Tucker long to refine an elite material. If there's a stable supply channel, the shipment volume must be considerable. Tucker could not take care of all the processes alone. That would be time-consuming and energy-consuming. Brother Tanilu, we dwarves are very united in Saint Land. The goods stored in our channels are guaranteed to be safe and no one will investigate you. Besides, we can consume as many things as you refine. Baggins' words gradually made Tucker make a decision. Okay. Tucker nodded gently. But you have to know that the purity of the materials I forge is very high, and the price will not be cheap. Brother Tanilu, you underestimate the rich people in Saint Land. Baggins laughed. If the materials you forge maintain the amazing purity before, after being tested by alchemical instruments and reaching the level of harmless, the price will increase 5 or 6 times, or even higher. I dare to guarantee that someone will rush to buy it. One's own safety and strength, that is something that no amount of money can buy. Those nobles and wealthy businessmen are willing to pay more premium for this. Baggins' words woke Tucker up a little. Nowadays, it is the steam age when steam trains run through the world's continents, and business is very prosperous. The big capitalists and powerful nobles are the real rich people. Compared with those extraordinary people, the money of these nobles and capitalists is obviously easier to make. It is difficult for Tucker to contact those rich people. But as a forging expert, Baggins, plus the dwarves themselves are relatively united, still has channels in this regard. At the same time, the promotion materials mentioned by Baggins can reach the level of harmless. This actually makes Tucker feel relieved. At least Tucker is not worried that the materials he refined cannot be sold at a high price. In this case, then prepare 50 pieces of second-level and third-level materials first, and see how the effect is. Tucker said this while thinking. No problem. Baggins nodded quickly. In addition, what materials are needed for the 2 ring staffs and dragon scale armor, I will give them to you now. If it is not enough, just deduct it from my share of magic gold. As the transaction progressed, Tucker kept taking out rune materials, and Baggins's 2 little eyes were shining. But Baggins had no greed for these materials. These things were all stolen by the steam wizard who killed half of the Dark Sun members of the Dark Sun Temple. It was no exaggeration to say that there were mountains of corpses and seas of blood. If I had it, I would probably die if I took it. It was Tucker's strength that made Baggins very happy to cooperate with him. After all, who doesn't want to cooperate with a strong? Brother Tanilu, it seems that you have taken a lot of good things from the small world of the Foreign Gate this time. I need to refine and quench this large amount of material step by step, and forge them into shape. Tisk tisk. This dragon scale has a much better color and purity than the ones I have in my hand. The skin of a mountain giant bear that is close to the 3rd level, melted into the lining of the dragon scale armor, it can form a more perfect fit with the flesh. The basic materials for the 3 pieces of equipment will take at least half a month. When the forging is almost done, I will notify you, Brother Tanilu, and then you just need to come over to complete the final rune loop. By the way, Brother Tanilu, is your magic fireplace built? It has been built. Tucker took out a location card of the magic fireplace. Tucker has applied for and opened the connection between the magic fireplace and the magic network of the St. Land's Steam Lighthouse in his residence. Magic letters can be transmitted throughout St. Land through the magic fireplace, and even to other extraordinary city-states and distant locations. About 2 hours later, after completing the transaction and getting his own things, Tucker left Wharf Street quietly. This time, Tucker made 3 powerful third-order ring rune equipment. This was Tucker's choice after a long consideration. Needless to say, the Shadow Rune Ring Staff is one of Tucker's powerful means to adapt to various complex environments. If the negative impact of shadow can be endured, the advantage of the Shadow Ring Staff is still quite huge. Moreover, Tucker has already planned to look for the 3 ring rune shadow witchcraft. Further strengthen the ability of shadow means. Not to mention the light blazing ring staff. The power of the light angel sequence in Tucker's body is ready to move, and it will be an explosion point when it reaches the third order. Tucker himself has obtained such a powerful means as the Heart of Flame from St. Rand. The light blazing ring staff can perfectly exert the characteristics of both light and flame. With the light blazing ring staff, Tucker can enter the flame state and quickly travel through the Heart of Fire in St. Rand. What's more, the entrance to the place where Tucker lives now is the Heart of Fire. It is equivalent to getting on the highway as soon as you go out. Rune Dragon Scale Armor. Needless to say, as a powerful covering extraordinary equipment that is completely contained and fits on the skin. Its strong defensive ability is known to everyone who uses it. Dragon Scale Armor is something that countless extraordinary people urgently want. But the Dragon Clan. Not to mention that there are no more on the east and west continents of the August Twin Stars extraordinary realm. Even in the Three-Eyed God, Sacred Gaia, Pan-Plane, Spiritual Blue Star Sea, Extraordinary Holy Spirit Kingdom, there are few traces of dragons. Using 5th level materials to create 3rd level dragon scale armor, only a few scales are used. But it can bring Tucker extremely powerful survivability. It is still very worthwhile. Once you get 3 powerful ring state 3rd level equipment, go to the dungeon, whether it is selling and purchasing materials, or participating in some extraordinary gatherings. Safety will be more guaranteed. During this period, just focus on cultivating the magical hut and forging materials. That's it. Tucker thought to himself. I want to go to the tower to learn about the mysteries of runes, but there is no better channel, which is a bit troublesome. I am in great need of books on the mysteries of runes. Well, this time when I go to the tower to buy magical seeds, I will see if I can find a chance to find a self-study student. Chapter 145. The extraordinary city-state, St. Rand, is itself an extremely powerful magical creature. St. Rand has the ability to reproduce. After humans integrated its extraordinary characteristics, St. Rand's magic sequence tree was finally condensed. Like the extraordinary sequence tree, the magic sequence tree will also produce crystals. And these crystals are magic seeds. Whether it is the Western continent or the Eastern continent, there are very few places that can produce magic seeds. And St. Rand can not only produce powerful magic seeds, but also very stable. St. Rand's magic seeds, like the extraordinary equipment of St. Rand's dwarf craftsmen, are also sold far and wide at home and abroad. It is said that the price of magic seeds outside is not cheap. Hoo-la-la. The rain curtain is still there. The rain curtain in the Grey Night period is still familiar. The rain curtain hits Tucker's shield, and the cold pours into his clothes. But now Tucker, who has the Heart of Fire, not only has extremely strong immunity to fire. His resistance to cold is also extremely amazing. If Tucker wanted, he himself would be a walking source of violent heat. In the square washed by the rain curtain, Tucker slowly retracted his gaze from the 3-ring steam magic tower in front of him, which was more than 300 meters high and roaring with source energy. Like Tucker, there were more than a dozen extraordinary people such as wizards and spellcasters waiting in the rain curtain. Like Tucker, these people paid money to choose magic seeds. Soon, an apprentice in a blue robe opened the barrier door. Come in. The apprentice in the blue robe shouted to the people outside. The people waiting outside filed in. Keep going forward, and after submitting the certificate, you can go to the branch window of the magic tree to choose the magic seeds you like. Then go to the exit and pick up 3 bottles of culture solution if you want the survival rate of the magic tree to be higher. Soil pots in the fertile soil layer and more advanced culture solutions are also for sale here. The apprentices who let everyone in did not forget to promote their products. Tucker, who entered with everyone, looked at the tower structure here with interest. Tower frame, life rock, source energy vein, magical characteristics, energy barrier, a lot of luxurious extraordinary characteristics are deposited in these towers. When these extraordinary characteristics are balanced by the steam extraordinary tower, then the powerful steam tower will be formed. It is a place for source energy storage, with strong defense capabilities, and the controller can use the power of the tower to resist powerful enemies. The tower itself will become a huge war fortress. And this is why the Dark Sun Church dare not easily provoke Saint Lander. And this is why many extraordinary people want to build a tower. The Magic Hut is a smaller version of the mobile tower, although it does not have the appearance of a tower. But the basic functions of the formed Magic Hut are very similar. After passing through the retro granite corridor, the location of the magic sequence tree has arrived. In the huge granite cave on the right, the black basalt-like stone vines, along the deep veins, derived solid rock vines, clinging to the rock wall of this huge hollow granite. Inside the rock vines, there is a strong magical property flowing. Unbelievable rock life. This is the lava hearth tree stump. This is Saint Rand. Other spellcasters, like Tucker, looked at the strange scene of climbing the magical tree with curious eyes. One by one, fist-sized, colorful, and perfectly closed magical seeds are hanging on the branches of the vines. There are almost hundreds of them. The extraordinary people can use various means to pick what they want. Tucker's eyes condensed slightly. Accurate vision sees through the veins of the world and blooms quickly. At this glance, Tucker immediately discovered the difference between these magical seeds of different colors and shapes. Some look lifeless on the outside, but the internal life strength is extremely abundant. Some are consistent inside and outside, look good, but the overall strength is average, and the survival rate of cultivation is probably not high. Of course, there are also some that are lifeless inside and out, and are definitely dead fetuses. Some have active external life, but almost no internal life. They are the kind that are happy when they are planted, but completely dead when they die. Tucker stabbed the top of the rock wall with his knife, almost embedded into the rock wall, and it was almost impossible to tell that it was a magical seed. Tucker's rune hand pressed directly on it and exerted a little force. This magical seed was taken down steadily by Tucker. This magical seed looks ordinary on the surface, and even the shape is not very regular. But the vitality inside is not only abundant and rich, but it is also constantly absorbing the life veins. It is a powerful magical seed that still has room for growth. At this time, a voice sounded beside Tucker. The one you chose is not good, and the survival rate is not high. Huh? Tucker frowned slightly and turned around to look. He saw a young man who was about 20 years old and had a handsome face and was an arcane wizard, who was looking at him. I can help you choose a magical seed with a very high survival rate. But this is a paid service, and it only costs 20 magic gold. Paid service. Tucker raised his eyebrows. The service industry in this magical tower is too humane. Well, thank you, no need, this one of mine is good enough. Tucker thought about it and said politely. The young arcane wizard didn't hesitate and immediately went to look for his next customer. Soon, a younger girl wizard bought the paid service. And the beautiful arcane wizard did choose a magical seed that Tucker thought was good. One after another, the arcane wizard provided paid services to the extraordinary people who came in. What surprised Tucker was that this arcane wizard really had quite good abilities. The magical seeds he selected were most likely to have good vitality. Something. Tucker couldn't help but take a closer look. However, Tucker was not looking at the other party's ability to identify magical seeds. Instead, this guy was actually doing such a business inside this tower. If an ordinary person dared to do this, he would either be driven out or carried out. The staff here, or the apprentices in the tower, turned a blind eye to the actions of the young wizard. Obviously, the behavior of the young wizard was tacitly accepted. For such a connected person who has connections in the steam tower, is familiar with everything in the tower, and even has quite a lot of connections, this is what Tucker needs very much at the moment. Soon, many spellcasters selected the magical seeds they needed, and then happily went to collect the culture medium. Among them, more than half of the extraordinary people bought the paid services of the young arcane wizard. Can you tell me how you identify the survival rate of those magical seeds? When the arcane wizard seemed to be counting how much magic gold he earned this time, Tucker walked up and asked. As if sensing Tucker's approach, the young arcane wizard turned around and spoke in a soothing tone. If you are willing to buy paid services, I can answer this question for you for free. Tucker took out 20 magic golds. He completed the transaction with Baggins a few days ago. Excluding the cost of purchasing materials, Tucker got 54,000 magic golds. And this is only a part of Tucker's wealth. The 3 extraordinary storage bracelets in Tucker's hand add up to nearly 300,000 magic golds. Tucker's wealth is completely comparable to the bounty on his head in the black market. Tucker remembered that his previous bounty was 320,000 magic golds. Recently, Tucker heard someone in the tavern that someone in the Black River Valley broke the news that the death of the puppet master seemed to be related to the blasphemer Tucker. Then, his bounty increased. Now, Tucker's head is worth 350,000 magic golds. Such a high bounty made Tucker himself a little tempted. After receiving the money, the arcane youth immediately told this story. I have been maintaining the magical seed ecological vines for many years. I have come into contact with them more often. Through their body shape, outline, breadth, color and other factors, I can judge the survival rate of these life seeds. I see. Tucker was a little surprised. This guy is indeed an insider of this steam tower. It seems that he is not an ordinary apprentice, but a senior student with status. The one you just picked has a certain probability of being a good magical seed. But to be safe, the blue magical seed is better. If you change it now, it's still in time. Tucker looked at the magical seed that looked like a blue crystal not far away. It was indeed a good magical seed, but compared to the one in Tucker's hand, it was obviously much worse. Thank you, I still feel that the one I just picked is more suitable for me. In addition, Tucker said slowly while thinking, I want to be a self-study student in the tower. Do you have any connections? The young arcane wizard looked at Tucker for a moment, then said, 100 magic gold, I will handle all the procedures for you to be a self-study student in the steam tower. Of course, you need to pay the self-study fee of 240 magic gold per semester. This semester has just started, and your self-study fee will not lose much. The other party's words made Tucker laugh. This connected person in front of him really has many connections. He is the guy Tucker likes. Chapter 146 The Secret of Runes. Compared with the self-study students of the Extraordinary Academy, the fees for self-study students of the Steam Tower are much more expensive. Tucker had also inquired before that the self-study students of the Extraordinary Academy cost 60 or 70 magic golds per semester, and the more expensive ones cost only about 100 magic golds. The self-study students of the Steam Tower are obviously much more expensive. The reason for the high price is that the Steam Tower has a richer and more complete collection of books on extraordinary studies. The professional knowledge of extraordinary career sequences is also more in-depth and thorough. As a self-study student, you are not even half an apprentice of the tower. You can only learn by yourself through the projection course of magic scrolls. This is also the origin of self-study students. If you want to ask the instructors, you have to pay. But even so, being able to get the status of a self-study student of the tower has already satisfied Tucker. After all, Tucker's goal is those magic scroll projection courses and the vast collection of extraordinary books. For other extraordinary students, it may be difficult to read all the books here in a lifetime. But for Tucker, this is not a big problem. Nowadays, with the improvement of level, the ability of touch perception has also improved. Tucker's ability to read and digest extraordinary books has also increased. Especially after learning and mastering the rune, Hand of Spirit Walking. Tucker has accumulated a lot of soul rune mysteries, which makes Tucker's soul thinking ability ridiculously strong. Touch the soul to read, understand and digest, comprehend and master, and finally collect for his own use. This is a smooth operation for Tucker. Thornflower, Magical Tower, Self-Study Student. This is the text on the front of the matte black tower identity certificate, which is the name of the 3-ring steam tower where Tucker is located. On the back is the name of Andre Lamour, as well as the time of admission, the tower's famous saying, and the number. When this identity certificate was handed to Tucker, Tucker couldn't help but praise the efficiency of the young arcane wizard Baird Freeman, the paid senior in front of him. It took only more than an hour. The way of Luz Iron is really wild and efficient. Basically, the areas you can go to are the Supernatural Book Collection and the Magic Scroll Course Collection. The arcane wizard Baird Freeman explained to Tucker. In fact, most of the apprentices are in these two places. During this period, if you have any questions, you can come and ask me. Of course, those will be charged items, and I will ensure that you are satisfied with the results. Even Barrett Freeman, a passerby and a paid senior, paused, thinking about the look of the wizard junior in front of him when he took out the money just now, and confirmed that the new self-study student was quite financially amazing, and then he said, "If you want to spend a nice weekend with a beautiful senior or junior, you can also come to me. There are many students from less wealthy families who need help." This made Tucker stunned. The business scope of this paid senior is too wide. But then again, these high tower students obviously don't have the strength of Tucker. If Tucker hadn't killed so many people outside, looted so many resources, Tucker is not much better than these tower students now, studying in the St. Land Super Tower, which requires a lot of money for knowledge. These tower students are all using their own ways to earn magic gold and complete their studies. Even the genius swordsman Brank, whom Tucker met before, also needs resources and magic gold. Also, this is my magic fireplace card. If you need it, just write a magic letter to me. After taking the magic fireplace card handed over by the other party and examining it, Tucker looked up again. He found that the paid senior had disappeared at the corner of the tower stairs in front. He put away the magic fireplace card. Tucker identified the direction and walked towards the collection of supernatural books. The purpose of Tucker's acquisition of the tower's self-study student is to learn the knowledge of supernatural runes. 2 hours later, Tucker came out of the magic scroll projection course hall and was thoughtful. In these 2 hours, Tucker explored a lot of courses about regular wizards, which can be said to be quite a lot. In one semester, Tucker felt that even if he had the talent of a top student like the ability to touch the soul, he could not finish learning. The time in St. Lander will not be short. I have to take at least half a day every day to study in the tower, otherwise the tuition fee of more than 200 magic gold this semester will be paid in vain. Tucker began to plan time for his wizard learning journey. After having a general learning direction and plan in mind, Tucker plunged into the books on rune mysteries in the book collection library. For the students of the tower, after becoming a mid-level extraordinary person, the extraordinary state, the mysteries of runes. These two are the inevitable paths to take. In particular, the talent in the mysteries of runes will determine the height of the extraordinary person in the future. If you condense the extraordinary state, you still cannot perceive the mysteries of runes. Then, for the rest of your life, you will stop at the mid-level extraordinary person. Only extraordinary people who are talented in the mysteries of runes are qualified to become high-level extraordinary people. In the city-state of the Lamore Tower, there are very few books about the mysteries of runes. Tucker had mastered the basic knowledge of wizards before, and had never read books on the mysteries of runes. Tucker himself only relied on his powerful extraordinary talent to comprehend the mysteries of runes in the seeds of 2 bare rune witchcrafts. As for the practice of the true rune path, Tucker was completely in the dark. This time, he entered the Tower of St. Lander. Tucker came here to learn and solve doubts. He entered the world of rune mysteries books. The brand new and vast world of rune mysteries gradually opened up in front of Tucker. Tucker was eagerly absorbing the knowledge of a large number of books on the mysteries of runes. One book after another, row after row. A large number of books were madly stuffed into Tucker's knowledge veins. While collecting a large amount of knowledge and information, Tucker was also in a state of rapid digestion. If you don't comprehend the mysteries, then reading these books on the mysteries of runes is like reading textbooks that you don't understand at all. Then you will be in the dark. But it's different for Tucker. Shadow runes, soul runes, wind runes, flame runes, and even light runes. Tucker also realized them through the power of the light angel sequence that he brought with him. The mysteries of the 5 runes are nurtured in Tucker's ecology. This makes it easy for Tucker to understand these mysteries of rune books. If he encounters something he doesn't understand, Tucker will also write it down. Anyway, the system is built into a knowledge vein, and the more knowledge the better. In this way, in the books that absorb a lot of rune mysteries. Unknowingly, several days have passed. In the corner, Tucker sat cross-legged quietly, carefully combing and digesting a lot of knowledge systems and contents about the mysteries of runes. Runes. It is one of the powers of the extraordinary world. It is the power that blooms from the origin and the power that explains the essential characteristics of the world. From the fact that the location where the rune stone appears must be the place where the extraordinary origin is condensed, it can also prove that this is true. The rune itself is a natural state, containing infinite mystery and a lot of mysteries. It's like a gift from the origin of the world. Humans can comprehend, understand, digest, and master the rune mysteries through the characteristics of rune explanation. And this is exactly the most difficult part. Even among the mid-level extraordinary people in the St. Lander Tower, the proportion of extraordinary people who can comprehend the rune mysteries is not high. Among the low-level extraordinary people, those who can comprehend the rune mysteries naturally, or follow the rune book they practice, and comprehend the rune mysteries contained in the book, are considered top-level extraordinary geniuses. Rune mysteries are difficult to comprehend. After comprehending, the effect is huge. Tucker has already experienced this. Otherwise, Tucker would not have found a way to come to the extraordinary tower to learn the knowledge related to the rune mysteries. Take the fire rune mystery that Tucker has mastered during this period. The more powerful the fire rune mystery he masters, the more powerful Tucker's witchcraft nightmare fire oil bomb will be. However, as an ordinary witchcraft, nightmare fire oil bomb is difficult to fully exert the power of the fire rune mystery. At this time, 3-star and 4-star rune witchcraft is needed. Rune witchcraft is the perfect means to exert the rune mystery. It can fully display the power of the rune mystery. The reason why Tucker's rune spirit hand can easily kill the 3rd-level extraordinary warrior is due to Tucker's soul rune mystery. Nowadays, Tucker's perception of soul rune and wind rune is already very profound. But Tucker always feels that his performance of the 2 rune powers is very poor. Even as the rune mysteries he has realized continue to increase, the rune mysteries have oppressed Tucker's own extraordinary ecology. This made Tucker very depressed for a while. Obviously, the power of the soul rune is very strong, but he just can't use it. Could it be that he has gone astray? After all, Tucker's rune path was a path he slowly explored without anyone's instruction. Today, as Tucker read a large number of books on the mysteries of runes, the long-standing doubts were finally solved today. It was not that Tucker's path was wrong. It was that Tucker's understanding and application of the mysteries of runes, as well as the way he opened them, were wrong. Rune is the world. If you want to bring out the power of the mysteries of runes, then build your own rune world tower in the extraordinary ecosystem. This is the correct way to use the power of the mysteries of runes. Chapter 147 Self-Built, 4-Ring Rune Tower. Rune World Tower. It is the way the power of rune mysteries is presented in the extraordinary ecology. According to the explanations of these rune mysteries books, once the Rune World Tower is condensed, it will be easier to bring out the power of rune mysteries. The Rune World Tower will also become a strong pillar of the extraordinary ecology of the extraordinary. Yes, the power of rune mysteries can itself be used as a support for the extraordinary ecology. Instead of being like Tucker now, he has comprehended a bunch of rune mysteries and has become a burden on his own ecology. After figuring out these problems, then a very realistic problem is placed in front of Tucker. The important book that explains the basic principles of the Rune World Tower and can build the Rune World Tower, Rune Secret Book. Where can Tucker get it from? Tucker has already stuffed a small part of the mysteries books here into his own knowledge veins. However, there are no books on how to build the Rune World Tower. Not a single one. Even, there are no books that slightly explain the construction of the rune framework system. Obviously, the power of the rune mystery level is obviously a deeper and higher level power in the extraordinary world, and belongs to the category of major secrets. It will not be open to the extraordinary outsiders. Even Tucker speculated. Ordinary apprentices in the high tower are unlikely to have access to it. Only those extraordinary people who have shown excellent talents in rune books and rune spells when they are in their 20s and 30s. Extraordinary people who are recognized as extraordinary geniuses by the tower masters are qualified to have access. Rune mystery, a perfect genius identifier. After some thoughts, Tucker let out a long breath and slowly opened his eyes. Although there are still a lot of books on the rune mysteries, Tucker has not learned to read them. But it is not realistic to find relevant information about the Rune World Tower from the books behind. The books that are specially used to cultivate geniuses will not be placed outside so easily. This kind of high-level rune knowledge is a priceless treasure for every powerful group in the extraordinary ecological system. Why don't we ask that paid senior? After all, that senior has so many ways. Tucker thought about it and immediately rejected the idea. Tucker didn't know the other party's background, and he didn't understand his character. The paid senior had a flexible mind that could develop a vast business. He dared to ask this question. The other party would definitely be able to judge that he was a genius who had comprehended the mysteries of runes. I know the general direction, and I can try to build a rune world tower myself. Although I have neither eaten pork in this area nor seen pigs run in this area. But as long as it can be piled up and does not cause oppression to my steam wizard ecology, it will be considered a success. In addition, Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. When you have time, you can make some preliminary contact with Brank. When I was fighting against the Son of Dark Sun, this kid comprehended the secrets of the sword code. To be more precise, it is a combination of the perception and actual combat of the extraordinary sword code and the secret of wind. It is called, well, it is the breath of the sword. Yes, Brank is talking about a breath of the sword. Brank is learning the rune sword code, which is a systematic way to comprehend the mysteries of runes. You can comprehend and practice while building your own rune world tower. Unlike me, I can only rely on my super talent to comprehend so many rune mysteries, but I can't use them at all. Find Brank, even if he can't help me get the classics like the Rune Secret Codex. Exchange with him about the perception of the rune mysteries and the establishment of his world rune tower will be of great benefit to me. Gurgle gurgle. Just as Tucker was about to try to condense the rune world tower, Tucker's stomach growled. Tucker looked back carefully and found that he had been in the Thornflower Magic Tower for 4 or 5 days. Not eating, drinking, resting, or meditating for a long time had caused Tucker's extraordinary life state to decline slightly. The magical seeds need to be planted as soon as possible, and those second-level and third-level elite materials need to be tempered as soon as possible. Thinking this, Tucker took a deep breath and stood up to walk outside. After a good meal in a small restaurant on the side of the road, Tucker slowly returned to his top-floor building. This top-floor building has been solidified by Tucker with the iron coupling source wall and the holy silver wall. Not to mention ordinary thieves. Even top thieves and scouts can't get in. Of course, even if they come in, they can't find much valuable things here. The small house that Tucker rented was just used as an ordinary living room by Tucker. But even so, Tucker has arranged a lot of means here. With precise vision, he passed over the puppet silk thread he had built in the house, and after confirming that no one had touched it, Tucker looked at the magic fireplace, where 2 magic letters came out. Tucker opened it and took a look. Sure enough, it was a letter from Baggins urging him to forge as soon as possible and send the refined promotion materials over. With a single hand rub, the 2 magic letters quickly burned to ashes. Then, Tucker took out a bearskin meditation seat, put it aside, and sat on it to meditate. On the way back, Tucker had already had several general directions for building the Rune World Tower based on the rune knowledge he had learned. In the extraordinary ecology, the rune mystery presents a free state. It is scattered in the ecology around the rune, and it is very stable, which is why they are difficult to use. The tower is to let them stack up in the form of rune frames, bloom the power of the rune mystery, and let them stand up instead of lying down. It's a bit difficult indeed. As Tucker carefully controlled the mysteries of the runes and wanted to construct them into a rune framework, he found that it was indeed a bit difficult. He finally managed to pile up some, but Tucker was not careful for a moment, and the little he had piled up immediately scattered. Examining a large number of rune mysteries, a lot of knowledge about the mysteries of runes quickly emerged in Tucker's mind. 2 SSS-level extraordinary talents. Steam, origin, spiritual state, precision, correction, quickly spread. Soon, Tucker had a flash of inspiration and accurately grasped the key points. Rune closed loop. Yes, the rune closed loop is the key to the rune mystery framework. Simply docking will not have much effect. Rune power itself is self-rejection and self-confrontation. This also makes the power of the rune mystery more inclined to a scattered and stable state in its natural form. But, after the rune power completes the closed loop, they will not disperse. But how much rune mystery power can form a closed loop? Let's try it. Immediately, Tucker began to condense the wind rune mystery. The soul rune mysteries around the steam sequence tree, guarding Tucker's soul, which is not very convenient for experiments. But the wind rune mysteries guarding around the witchcraft shadow of the rune hurricane. If there is a problem, it will not have much impact. The aggregation and stacking of the power of the 2 talents of precision and correction, steam and origin spiritual state. Let Tucker be very efficient in condensing the rune mystery into a ring state. When Tucker invested about 3 standard units of wind rune power, a very stable wind rune ring surrounded the witchcraft projection of rune hurricane holder. As soon as the wind rune ring appeared, Tucker immediately felt that the power of the wind rune had reduced the pressure on Tucker's ecology. After feeling that this method was indeed effective, Tucker smiled lightly. Continue to condense. After finding the correct way to open it, Tucker felt it for a while and continued to condense. Since it is a rune world tower, a tower form, it is a stacked state. Soon, the second wind rune ring appeared above the first wind rune ring. Looking at the second wind rune ring, Tucker frowned slightly. Although it did condense the rune mystery and reduce the pressure on the ecology. But the outline of this condensed rune mystery ring looks a bit too large and not very beautiful. After all, it's just my superficial condensation state, and there will definitely be a gap between it and the rune world tower constructed by the real rune secret book. First solve the problem of whether it exists, and then solve the problem of whether it is excellent. It is enough to make these rune mysteries not oppress my ecology and to be able to perfectly exert their power. Tucker continued to condense. Soon, 4 wind rune rings were condensed successfully. The remaining wind runes could no longer support Tucker to condense the 5th wind rune ring. In the past 6 months, Tucker's mind has been immersed in the mysteries of soul runes, wind runes, and light runes. The soul runes and wind runes have been comprehended in a similar way. As for the light rune, because there is no light rune seed, Tucker only slowly comprehends it from the wizard's sequence tree. It is only about 1/3 of the soul rune. As for the flame rune and shadow rune, there are even fewer. The flame rune is also something that Tucker has only been able to touch recently after he got the Heart of Fire. As for the shadow, there was no shadow power in Tucker's ecology. Tucker just borrowed a rune ring staff in his hand and comprehended it a little bit. When looking at the rune hurricane holding, surrounded by 4 rune rings, Tucker had already felt it vaguely. Now, the power of the 3-star rune witchcraft, rune hurricane holding, blessed by 4 wind rune rings is probably astonishingly great. But no matter what, the correct way to open the rune mystery, although a little rough, has been mastered by Tucker. Chapter 148 Tucker's Alchemy Chamber. Deep inside the wall, in the alchemical chamber constructed by the silver holy wall and the crystal source wall, Tucker was planting the magical seeds. Dig a hole, bury the seeds, and compact the soil. Then water them thoroughly with nutrient solution. Tucker bought the flower pots and soil from the tower. He even bought a few more bottles of nutrient solution for safety reasons. After doing all this, Tucker carefully examined the changes in the buried magical seeds. A minute passed. A few minutes passed. 10 minutes passed. No changes at all. Tucker stretched and murmured to himself. Changes cannot be seen in such a short time. It will take at least 1 or 2 days to see the surging of life veins. Move the flower pot to the window in the groove of the wall. If there is no surging of life veins at this time tomorrow, we have to find a way. The magical seeds, at the beginning, are like ordinary seeds, taking root, sprouting, growing branches, and then bearing fruits. And the fruit is the magic hut that Tucker needs. The fist-sized mini magic house in its infancy has an amazing appetite. It will run around and want things. It can eat anything and digest everything. The better it eats, the stronger the extraordinary characteristics of the magic house will be. When it grows to the same height as a person, people can live in it. However, the magic house at this time is at best a movable pipe. If you continue to feed it, it will become larger and larger, and the speed will become slower and slower. At this time, a carrier is needed. Tucker plans to use a magic bracelet as his carrier. At this time, the magic house needs to have extremely strong spatial characteristics. Otherwise, the weight of the carrier and its own size are difficult to lighten and miniaturize to become a magic bracelet. Fortunately, Tucker has enough space rune stones in his hands, which are enough to support the characteristics of the magic house in this regard. Basically, the internal space reaches 20 square meters, 30 square meters, and the height is about 3 or 4 meters. If the feeding materials are better, the internal area is 40 or 50 square meters. At this time, the magic house will enter a stable period. The extraordinary can also use it normally. In the future, it can be fed slowly with energy in areas with abundant energy, or resources can be delivered to it to continue growing. From the amazing size of St. Lander's lava furnace core tree stump, we can see how amazing the upper limit of magical creatures is. He came to the stone table next to him. After confirming that the energy pool of the energy steam engine was full of energy, Tucker started the energy steam engine. Woo woo woo. With a roar of steam, energy began to surge. It drove the entire system of the energy steam engine to run, and spewed extraordinary flames with certain leader-level characteristics into the furnace crucible. This entire set of alchemy systems on the stone table was selected by Baggins for Tucker. Even leader-level materials can be melted by the steam alchemy system. After writing 2 letters, Baggins urged again. As for refining materials, Tucker didn't start until today. Although he had the shield of the wizard robe, Tucker still put on a source energy shield for the sake of safety, and then began the refining work. Tucker's alchemical chamber with the silver holy wall and crystal source wall as a barrier. It is deep in the stone pillars of the St. Lander wall, about 30 meters away from Tucker's living room. The crystal source wall is the core frame, and the silver holy wall is the filler. The combination of the two makes Tucker's alchemical chamber an order of magnitude safer and stronger than the living room outside. The alchemical chamber is not an absolutely closed space, but is connected to the furnace core fire channel and has several air ducts. As the furnace core fire channel at the air outlet takes away the air here, the air coming in from the air inlet allows the alchemical chamber to have a good ventilation environment. Tucker has not yet condensed the extraordinary state to build a good natural ecological environment for himself. This allows Tucker's extraordinary ecology to maintain a balance with the surrounding natural ecology. This is also one of the ultimate truths that human wizards have always pursued to transform the extraordinary world. Tucker connected the 8 magic wall lamps on the 4 walls of the alchemy chamber with a magic network, providing sufficient lighting for the chamber. Tucker only needed a nightmare oil bomb to transmit their energy veins and light them all up. In St. Land, it is impossible not to be exposed to the magic network. The magic network is already one of the compulsory courses for wizards in St. Land. It is foreseeable that in the future world, the magic network will gradually spread to every corner of the world. And Tucker has a strong interest in this course. When walking on the street every day, Tucker will sense, touch and comprehend the means and characteristics of those magic networks. Now, Tucker has been able to establish his own simple magic network to a certain extent. The magic network connection of the magic wall lamp is Tucker's own masterpiece. In addition, Tucker also found that the magic network and the puppet silk thread have a certain commonality. Learning the knowledge of the magic network can provide certain ideas for the means and abilities of his own puppet silk thread. Soon, Tucker refined a second-level elite promotion material with extremely strong endurance, extraordinary properties. He did not touch it with his sense of touch. With precise visual discrimination alone, Tucker was able to determine that this elite material had reached the harmless level. After taking it, there was no need to worry about the promotion. After examining it, he sealed it in a box. Immediately, Tucker began to refine the second elite material. For beginners, materials play a vital role in promotion. Once there is no major problem with the materials, then, the probability of promotion will be very high. This will inevitably make these materials expensive. Compared to those magic golds, life is undoubtedly more important. About 4 hours. More than 100 materials were refined by Tucker. In addition to the elite materials from Baggins, Tucker also bought some elite materials himself. After doing all this and resting for a while, Tucker traveled through a phase and came to his living room. His eyes swept through the house and outside. Everything was as usual. Tucker flipped his hand and took out the ash clock. Go to the tower to study for an afternoon first, and then hand the things over to Baggins. Tucker came outside. He took a deep breath. The scorching air waves of the furnace core fire road not far away also surged with Tucker's breathing. His eyes stayed on the furnace core fire road. Tucker carefully felt his extraordinary ecology. After finding the correct way to open the rune mystery, Tucker has completely reshaped his steam wizard ecology. In the 4th ring of wind rune, micro hurricane magic, rune hurricane holding. The 4th ring of soul rune, it surrounds Tucker's steam wizard sequence tree. Rune spiritual hand is also included. The light rune can only condense 1 ring, which is also around the steam wizard sequence tree, and includes the light shaping spear. Although Tucker did not feel that these ring-shaped runes brought any powerful positive blessings to his ecology. However, Tucker was already quite satisfied that he had not caused any negative pressure on his extraordinary ecology. This also meant that Tucker could continue to comprehend more rune mysteries. The most important thing was that the correct way to open the rune ring that condensed the ring state made the blessed witchcraft undergo a qualitative change. Compared to when Tucker first entered St. Land, there was not much change in the current Tucker. But his witchcraft skills had increased sharply. Wait until we get those rune ring staffs and rune dragon scale armor. Basically, we can go to the underground black market, or even go deeper underground to take a look. I heard. Tucker's eyes narrowed slightly. The vampires and werewolves are rampant deep underground. Chapter 149, a ring-shaped bright flaming ring staff. The Earth Fire Rock Area. Number 112 Dwarf Street. Great God of furnaces and craftsmen, is this really a supernatural crystal that humans can refine? After passing the test of the alchemical instrument, Baggins carefully took the third-level elite supernatural crystal and couldn't help but admire it. Those nobles will definitely pay double, no, 3 times, no, 5 times the price to buy such a treasure. After praising, Baggins said loudly with extreme excitement, "Are all the materials of this level?" Looking at the densely packed small iron boxes on the table, Baggins asked. "Yes." Tucker nodded. "You can check them all." "Haha. When those buyers come to buy, I will personally take them to check it." There must be a sense of ceremony in a high-standard treasure form. In this way, those nobles and merchants can willingly pay a high price. Baggins obviously has sufficient experience in selling goods at a premium. The price of second-level elite materials is generally between 50 magic gold and 100 magic gold. If the average price is 70, the price of 5 times can be sold for 350 magic gold. The cost is only about 40 magic gold. The price of third-level elite materials is higher, between 200 and 400 magic gold. If the average price is 300, the price of 5 times is 1,500 magic gold. To be honest, for an ordinary extraordinary person to be promoted to the second level, the sum of 3 ordinary materials will not exceed 100 magic gold. Those who can be promoted to the third level are considered to be quite powerful. Even if 1 elite material is used, 1 elite material plus 2 ordinary materials, at most it will be about 300 magic gold. And the high price of 5 times, I am afraid that only those nobles and wealthy merchants are willing to pay this money. After Baggins finished counting the things, Tucker asked, "How are the 2 ring staffs and dragon scale armor forging?" Tucker asked this, and Baggins looked over. The framework and structure of the light blazing ring staff have been forged. The only thing left is the last step of condensing the 3 rune powers into a ring. The other 2 will take a lot of time. You are here today. We can try to gather the 3 rune powers into a ring. But, Brother Tanaru, I have to tell you in advance. The rune gathering of the light blazing ring staff is quite difficult. You must be prepared to fail. Baggins said as he walked towards the alchemy chamber on the side. Well, I'm ready. Tucker nodded, got up and followed. Half an hour later. In the roar of the source energy steam engine, the source energy steam has already filled every corner of the house. The heat wave swept the source energy steam and made it roll wildly in the house. At this time, the outline of the light blazing ring staff has been burned through, and the frame inside has also entered the excited state. In Tucker's precise visual scrutiny, this light blazing ring staff that can lock and stabilize the rune ring is not simple. The dense, stable, and solid blending inside, forming a ring-shaped frame structure, has already made Tucker amazed. On this basis, it also takes into account the flow and surge of the source energy and the veins that guide the power of the runes. And they coexist perfectly with each other. In Tucker's opinion, this is simply a work of art. The craftsmanship of the dwarf craftsmen of Saint Land has been passed down for thousands of years. It can be sold at home and abroad, and it really has strength and foundation. Now, Baggins roared immediately when he felt that the fire was about right. Tucker immediately took out the first light rune stone that had been refined by Baggins. As soon as the light rune stone was taken out, the power of the light rune quickly bloomed. But the next moment, the blooming light rune power was directly pinched by Tucker. Under Tucker's guidance, the rune power was quickly poured into the light blazing ring staff. Then Tucker took out the second light rune. When the second light rune power was poured into the light blazing ring staff, the 2 light rune powers immediately joined forces to burst the light blazing ring staff. With the downward force of Tucker's single hand, the 2 light rune powers that wanted to be restless immediately stabilized. Touching perception, precise control, phase power suppression, and the perfect fit of the original spiritual state with the surrounding world. Not to mention the power of these 2 small light runes. Even if there were 10 light rune powers, Tucker could suppress them. Then there was the 3rd rune power. Tucker did the same and injected the power of the fire rune into it. With Tucker's precise control. Soon, the 3 rune powers perfectly closed the loop in the light blazing ring staff. when the closed loop was formed. Wow! The white flames containing the breath of light directly bloomed on the body of the light blazing ring staff. At the same time, Baggins, who used the source energy frame of the source energy steam engine to control the light blazing ring staff, was stunned. He looked at Tucker and said in a lost voice, "So fast. What else?" Tucker spread his hands. "Are we going to fight till dawn? Also, you should anneal." "Oh. Damn, this looks too easy." As he began annealing, Baggins looked at the light blazing ring staff in disbelief. As the flame of the source energy steam engine faded, as expected, the light blazing ring staff naturally burst out with a breath of fire and light. "Brother Tanaru, your control over the power of runes is too amazing." Baggins looked at Tucker fiercely for several more times, and then he couldn't help but yelled. "You don't know how long that damn 5th level arcane wizard took last time. One day and one night, I didn't close my eyes, didn't drink a sip of water, and didn't eat any food. If that guy wasn't a 5th level arcane wizard, I really wanted to smash his dog head with a hammer. In the end, that bastard even complained that my control of the flame was not fine enough. Oh. Great god of furnace and craftsman, I don't know how I restrained my anger at that time." Now thinking back to the scene at that time, Baggins' anger is still rising. "Compared to you, Brother Tanaru, that arcane wizard is simply a waste, even worse than a waste. You might as well say this in front of that 5th level arcane wizard." Tucker joked. "With you, Brother Tanaru, here, even if that guy is here, I dare to say it." Baggins swung the hammer with a grunt and laughed. As the annealing was completed, the first ring of the light blazing ring staff was successfully forged. The first ring of the light blazing ring staff, formed by the condensation of 3 runes, has the characteristics of 2 runes, fire and light. It can greatly bless light spells and fire spells. The effect of blessing is obviously much stronger than that of a rune power ring staff. As a light system ring staff is the dominant one, it can more effectively restrain dark creatures. For example, vampires, werewolves, etc. The above are the basic functions of the light blazing ring staff. Light flame state, this is the ability of the light blazing ring staff. Tucker asked Baggins to forge it specifically, combining the 2 extraordinary characteristics of light and fire. Light flame state. It can not only exert the extraordinary magical powers of the heart of fire. It can also exert the characteristics of the angel of light. This is a powerful form that Tucker customized for himself based on light and fire. Brother Tanaru. When Tucker carefully felt the new light blazing ring staff he had obtained, Baggins hesitated and spoke. "I have something to ask Brother Tanaru for help. It's related to those damned vampires and werewolves in the underground. Cooperation with Baggins is a matter of benefit to both parties, so this favor must be helped." When Tucker heard that it was related to the vampires and werewolves in the underground city, his eyebrows raised immediately. This is a win-win situation. Tucker naturally can't miss it. Chapter 150 Dwarf Family Treasure. Soulfire Rock Area. L'Amour Street. This area is a long street opened by Saint Lander for L'Amour's extraordinary people. Most of the residents here are from L'Amour City State. L'Amour Street is not far from Fire Road 7th Street where Tucker is. Tucker has been here several times before. In a large-scale Tree Heart Crypt Tavern with the characteristics of L'Amour Tower City State and Saint Lander. Tucker was sitting at the bar, tasting the oak stone fruit wine. It is said that the acorns used to brew this wine were picked from the stone forest deep in Saint Lander. There are not many extraordinary people in the tavern. I don't know how long it took. The halfway store of the Crypt Tavern was pushed open by a force. Then, a third-level undead wizard who was shrouded in the breath of death and looked a little indifferent walked in. Then, a second-level assassin with a slightly gloomy look in his brows, but a pair of eyes that still scanned the entire bar very flexibly followed closely behind. After the two had been in for a while, the halfway door of the tavern was pushed open again by an invisible force. Woo-woo. There was a faint sound of steam roaring in the air. This time, the one who came in was a steam knight in silver armor with golden patterns. Although the helmet and visor blocked her face, her heroic temperament could be felt from her long blue curly hair and the steps that contained the strong power of a steam train. As the steam knight entered, many extraordinary people in the tavern looked at her sideways. Zailuar, how many blood clans and werewolves did you kill today? At this time, an extraordinary person not far away raised a wooden wine glass and asked loudly. Not a few. Zailuar responded without turning his head. As he said that, Sliver threw the 3 vampire heads in his hand directly on the bar. This scene made the bartender jump up. Damn it, Sliver, this is the bar, not the place where you submit demon hunting tasks. Behind. I have told you many times that behind is the place where you submit tasks. You put these damn vampire heads here, it will scare away customers. The bartender's speech speed is like a steam machine gun, banging non-stop. Until 2 silver dragon coins slap in front of the bartender, it stopped abruptly. Also, this round of drinks, I will buy it. Sliver took off the golden textured helmet and put it aside. This immediately made the extraordinary people in the whole tavern raise their glasses and cheer. The bar instantly became lively. Obviously, this is not the first time. 2 baron heads and 1 viscount head. Tucker, who was at the corner of the bar, glanced at the 3 vampire heads, thinking. The heads of ordinary vampires are not valuable, but the demon hunters will collect the heads of vampires with titles, and the price is not low. However, vampires with titles. Not only must they have strong bloodlines, but they must also have blood castles like the dungeon demons, as well as a certain number of lower-level vampires, and absorb the extraordinary characteristics around them to become vampires with titles. The only way to develop lower-level vampires is to transform human extraordinaries. The extraordinaries of Saint Land will not have many humans to transform, so the only possibility is to transform the Dark Sun Evil Fall. Let the Dark Sun Evil Fall become the Vampire Evil Fall. In this way, we can create vampires with titles in batches. A steam knight with short arms and legs like Sliver can get the heads of 3 vampires with titles underground. Now it seems, the vampires deep in the dungeon are already quite large. This trip underground is probably quite dangerous. Tucker couldn't help rubbing his brows. Before, after refining the first ring state, bright blazing ring staff, Baggins explained to Tucker the help he needed. Baggins's family chamber of commerce, which is more of a family council than a chamber of commerce, is in big trouble. Although the dwarves of St. Rand do not have the temperament of the mountain dwarves and like to dig deep holes, they also like to store the family's wealth in the sealed place deep underground. St. Rand's own powerful ecology has built a deep underground area into a world-class ecology with multiple dimensions and multiple domains. Therefore, there are many safe ecological barriers or natural sealed areas deep underground. The solidity of these sealed areas is such that even Tucker can't escape if he is sealed in. Otherwise, the original Dungeon Demon King would not be sealed and died there. Tucker even heard that many of St. Rand's taboo seals were sealed in the underground sealed area. There is no doubt that the safety of the deep underground itself is beyond doubt. It is precisely because of this. Baggins's family council will store their family's wealth in the sealed place deep underground. They even hired a group of reliable vampire and wolf sequence superhumans to guard the treasure seal of their family for a long time. But the problem lies here. Half a year ago, when the power of the Ashdark Tide infiltrated into Lamor, the Earth's blood tide also flooded a large area of St. Land's underground world. A large number of vampires and werewolves took the opportunity to emerge from the depths of the crypt and occupied a large area of St. Land's underground ecological area. In order to save their lives, the superhumans of the human vampire and werewolf sequences stationed at the Baggins family meeting gave up the sealed treasure snow area they were stationed in. This made the Baggins family very angry. They cursed the shamelessness of the superhumans who signed the contract. But cursing is useless. Those treasure resources stored deep underground will not run back on their own. As werewolves and vampires became more and more rampant in the underground world, there was even news that the treasures of other dwarf families were pried open. This made the Baggins family a little restless. With a bloody lesson of signing a contract before, but a group of extraordinary people ran away. The Baggins family no longer trusts those high-level extraordinary people. If they dare to escape today, won't they rob the treasure tomorrow? Safety. This time, the Baggins family took out the treasure for the first consideration. If the safety is not high enough, they would rather continue to seal the treasure deep underground. According to Baggins's explanation, the Dwarf Council of the Baggins family has recruited a lot of partners with a high degree of trust during this period. Prepare to restart the treasure recovery plan. The treasure is underground very deep. And there, it is now the Blood Clan Temple of the Dark Sun Church and the Totem Temple. After listening to Baggins's explanation, Tucker's first reaction was, did this group of dwarves have too much money and burn their brains? Why did you bury the family's wealth so deep for no reason? The second reaction was that these dwarves were so rich, was he, ahem. Then, it was Tucker's third reaction, our friendship was as solid as a rock, I will definitely help you. As for the rebellion on the road, the wealth taken away would obviously be ownerless wealth. Tucker generally treated ownerless wealth as a gift from nature. Opportunities, sometimes, come like this. Baggins and their dwarf family don't know much about the underground world. After all, dwarves are not good at fighting, but better at iron making. And Tucker himself doesn't have many channels to learn about the underground world. But Tucker knows. There are many extraordinary people here on Lamore Street who make a living. After all, when they were in the city-state of Lamore, many extraordinary people dared to explore and adventure deep into the land of ashes. After coming to Saint Land, the tradition of Lamore was not lost. Most of the Lamore extraordinary people who came to Saint Land adhered to the spirit of exploring deep underground. There are quite a few Lamore superhumans who fight against the vampires and werewolves. And Zalor, as the representative figure of the Lamore city-state in Saint Land, not only united many Lamore superhumans with strength and talent, but also built a steam tower and established the Lamore Mutual Aid Association. Tucker also heard that Zalor had won the Medal of the Tower Knight in the Five-Ring Tower of Saint Land, and had a certain status in Saint Land. It is precisely because of this that Lamore, who does not have many strong people, can gain a foothold in Saint Land. The Lamore Mutual Aid Association here has a lot of intelligence and information about the underground world. Many Lamore Tower superhumans have gradually made some reputations in Saint Land. Tucker, who silently watched the situation of the Lamore residents here, came here today for this. Wizard? New here. Just when Tucker was thinking about how to start, Carlos, the assassin who had been reprimanded, came in before Bishiro. He looked depressed. He must have come to Tucker's side for some reason. Tucker turned his head and looked at the extraordinary assassin Carlos, who came up to talk to him. The noisy tavern, which was a little dim, had a slightly playful smile, and a familiar face that had changed but not changed. This scene made Tucker feel as if he had returned to the cold night in the Lamore Crypt Tavern. That was where Tucker and Carlos met and started their first adventure. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.